to go from the Hard Legion side.
I think, as you mentioned, Illuminar all across the board, they were coming alive. And if that doesn't happen, then I think Hard Legion really need to be contesting the ramp area, which they weren't really able to do effectively. And to be able to get those picks in the ramp area, I think that is going to be the pivotal point that might make the decision between the W or the L for the Hard Legion side. It looks like we're already getting into the game.
Yeah, Snacks trading some kills over towards Ali. He is brought down by Sviat, who was very willing to get aggressive. Now remember, these CTs are not positioned in a great place to stop this bomb from being planted, so it's all about that retake, which they do have a kill for. So they're ready for this possibility, and that's where they need the flank to work out. Both these players coming up ramp. It's Riyadh to take first point of contact and continue through with some good firepower. Unfortunately, can't find the second player as Hard Legion are still fighting back. Riyadh is moving in, but look at where Krad is. He's found the wraparound. And can he get into position? 2v2. Things are looking tricky. Things are dicey. Riyadh still fighting away. Forrester, though, will finally take him down. And Mao's in the 1v2 without time, without the kit, knows that he has to retreat and find whatever money he can, whatever solace he can in that round.
Yeah, I think that round was pretty much over with as soon as Innocent dropped that defuse kit. That was the only thing that was really allowing them to have the freedom of even going for the retake. Otherwise, Hard Legion, they were all just huddled up towards the site or in positions where they could get the refrag. So dropping that defuse kit straight off the bat and in a position where it would take a significant amount of time to recover, I think that's where the pistol round really just flew away from their hands. But now, Hard Legion, with a couple AKs, a Galil, and 2 MAC-10s, they have all the weaponry in the world. They're locked and loaded, and on the other hand, Illuminar, Beagles, and Kevlar across the board. Brad, though.
Big kill to find at this stage. Where was that? I can't even tell. I think that's over towards the stairs, so Snacks must have gotten aggressive over in the B stairs, and that is, I suppose, where he's punished. Either that or it's connected. It's good old Vertigo radar. You know you can't tell. Meanwhile, though, Illumina, they've got Deagles, and, you know, we've seen them do some cool stuff with Deagles. Unfortunately, they don't have nades, and that is one thing where I will very happily complain that CT sides on Vertigo, when they're on the force buy, do not buy nades enough. It's the perfect solution to someone going for a fast wall of smokes and a plant. Throw 3 nades at them, and they're gone. It's a great, easy, free kill to potentially get. It's one of the best nade stacks across all 7 maps that you have on Vertigo. So I would have liked to see that. Unfortunately, it will not be the case. And it's all about deagles.
Yeah, I think the question really comes down to whether or not you're relying on the read that you might get with nades to be able to land all of your nades in the right spot. I mean, even though it is significantly easier, as you said, as a nade stack on a Vertigo, but then you also have to gamble by not getting, let's say, Beagles, and pretty much relying on the read rather than your individual skills. So I think some players that might opt for the fact that, okay, we might have the aim necessary to pull it off with Deagles, and some might not feel the same confidence, and they'd like the T-time route, the good old level 3 face-it route.
Can I just say that the dead skulls in the HUD, for like if you look at Riaz's name in the HUD, the dead skull looks like it's wearing a top hat.
Oh, dude, I will never be able to unsee that.
There you go. Top hats on skulls. We're a stylish bunch here at Malta Vibes.
I mean, you've ruined the deaths for me now in the game, so I don't know if I can continue casting.
I fixed it for you. I've made it look beautiful.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Skulls with top hats.
And we're going to have some beautiful Counter-Strike shaping up over here as well. ILLUMINAR, not in a beautiful state, as they are rocking the pistols, and Hard Legion's about to be rocking. Say that, but Innocent just got a quick hit.
2 kills already, though, for the CT side. It's a lot of damage being dished out, and Forrester is only on 6 points of health. And the bomb is dropped. Oh, never mind. They should be able to recover it. For a second there, I thought the CTs might have had control of it. Misread the radar. Good old Vertigo. Now Kinky. I think he needs to clear the bomb side before he's able to bring the bomb over. And my apologies if you heard a duck quacking in the background. That's just being very worried for the Hard Legion side because they're about to drop the ball here when they shouldn't have.
Well, you never really know. Ducky might have a point. Kinky, though, he's got a fire underneath his feet. The question is, can there be a bomb planted underneath his feet? A Molotov coming in, that's the kind of utility you like to see, even if it is picked up from the dead bodies of terrorists. Welcome, the Counter-Strike. If you don't use your utility, the CTs will steal it away from you and make you really unhappy about that fact. Kinky knows he's the one with the HP, knows that there's going to be the spray coming in, but he is brought down. Veggie finds the first. Great positioning from him. He doesn't just blindly spray through the smoke. He realizes and recognizes that the smoke will be dissipating in 2 seconds, and he just waits for that to happen. He was playing very far forward regardless, so even though he's traded, Riot is there to very quickly even it up. 2 players kept alive in the complete eco round. Really good stuff from ILLUMINAR.
Unfortunately for Hard Legion, they're not able to cement their lead any further. Straight off the bat, right after those 2 rounds, ILLUMINAR getting around on the board. And these are the kind of mistakes that Hard Legion cannot afford to make, considering their track record on Vertigo, especially against ILLUMINAR. They already have a pretty bad win rate, and they've already lost against ILLUMINAR. So obviously, this is going to be a bit tough for Hard Legion. And let's see if they have an answer to this. Luckily, though, they were able to get the bomb plant, which means that they can comfortably buy up AKs and a lot of utility. They are lacking smokes, though. Wait, never mind. They do have 3 smokes. I think that should be enough.
Forrester, quick one onto Riat, take him down. Always an important kill to find. Riat, especially with how much of a menace he's been at times. Look at Snacks, though. He's gotten so aggressive, and he misses the shot. I do think it tagged him up nicely, but unfortunately, not quite the kill he wanted. And ILLUMINAR, despite having the HP advantage, manpower is not quite there. So if Hard Legion end up hitting the B bomb site, which it seems like they are shaping up for, this could be very problematic moving into it.
Hard Legion, though, they haven't lost a single player just yet, but I mean, at this rate, they might have, because they might as well have, because they're at 5 and 11 points of health apiece. Mao's already taking down Crad, and unfortunately for them, that's one of the healthier players there. Playing around Bookshelf, he's trying to find a head around the smoke. He spots one as he tries to jump around the corner. So much damage being done already to Hard Legion, and there's only 20 seconds on the clock, so they need to move into the bomb site now. Sviat gets Veggie. So much chaos as Mouse is trying to maneuver around the smoke. Kinky already goes down, 10 seconds on the clock. The bomb pretty much out of the realm of recoverability. And Sviat and Forrest are pretty sure they're just going for a save. There's no chance in hell that they're able to get that bomb amidst all that chaos.
ILLUMINAR, they are getting themselves into a position where things are going to be scary for Hard Legions now. Because they saved those 2 AKs, you're probably going to see them opting to force buy around them. So if ILLUMINAR win the next round, if they win this round, you're looking at what should be a 5-2 scoreline for them on the CT side to boot. Now, here's the thing. I don't care what anyone tells me. No one's really figured out whether Vertigo is CT-sided or T-sided. And that's just the facts. But what we have to keep in mind, though, for us, Wild 80, for us, whatever I want to call you, I will call you Wild 80, is that Hard Legion had the side pick. So they ended up picking the T side. So for them to be down 2-5, I don't know what they think is, Vertigo's strong suit, but they're probably unhappy with it.
Yeah, I think you make an excellent point about nobody really being 100% sure about whether or not the CT or T side is more favored, especially because of just how the economy works. I think in some games you can really find yourself on the T side and feel very happy about it, thinking that, okay, I can repeatedly go for these plays because of the fact that I have the comfort for being able to repeatedly buy up. But sometimes when you're really hitting your shots, when you're really able to choke the other team out on the CT side, you're going to feel comfortable playing on the CT side, and that's just because of the positional advantage. So it comes down to the pros and cons. Like, what do you prefer, the positional advantage, or just the heavy economic deficit that you might be able to dish out to the other team on the T side?
The other problem that we also have to contend with, though, is the fact that Hard Legion, the second they start hitting their B-bomb site, they're going to need a lot of utility for that. Molotovs need to be used on Grey Box around the corner of the steel beams, over on default at times. There's just so many places which you need to be able to nade out, flash out, or Molo out that you can't even put yourself in a place where on Vertigo, where you can say, hey, we're just going to bug it out. Bugging it out works on ramp, but ramp control is something that ILLUMINAR might not be willing to give up, and Hard Legion's not too used to it. So let's see how that goes for them, and I'm worried at this point.
Yeah, I think one of the major points here is just how they're able to contest ramp, because the ability to pug around, it is always going to be, I think ramp is going to be one of the more significant areas where you can do it. So it comes down to whether or not the CT side can take effective control of it. Now Veggie already taking down Sviat, and well, 2-3 down for the terrorist side.
Well, Rage is there to respond in a 3v3. Hard Legion is going to be finding themselves hard pressed and pressed even harder. Mouse shoots straight into the skull of Crad. Will be at an easy little place. And now you're going to be looking at a 3v2 where although the T's have control over the B-bomb side, things are not going to be easy for them. Forrester, however, still alive. And when he's alive, you know he can make magic happen. And he's just got out his wand. 2v2. Bomb will be planted. Let's see how it goes. Your gain is very high.
The bomb is already down, and one of the CTs so far away. I think this is one of the deciding factors here for the retake. Rage trying to take the initial point of contact. He wants to eliminate the numbers, but Forrester will be there to pick it up. Innocent now in a 1 versus 2 already gives away his position because the flash. It gives him the idea that maybe they're pushing him. They're just making things so much harder for him. Oh, is he going to be able to get the He's just going for the ninja. How does that happen? Oh, they did that. It's so close. For a second there, it was just going to happen. Oh.
Yeah, a sliver of a second away from it. And unfortunately, the 1v2, which he almost managed to creep away, was just not going his way. And I talked about how that was a round where ILLUMINAR could have found themselves up 5-2, but Hard Legion, off the back of some heroics from Forrester, off the back of a few saved AKs, are able to come through and run away with it. Now, though, it's all about the initial contest. Snacks finds Race, takes him down. And with that, he's got full control over Connector, so this will be problematic for the side of Hard Legion. They'll have to be continually very careful that there isn't an MP9 flanking in behind them. Nade won't do much damage, and neither will Crad through that smoke. So it all comes down to Veggie, who's taking down Sviat. In the meanwhile, Innocent still left in the back lines, as Crad will be trying to do the same.
Still 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock, though, so the T's cannot be counted out, despite the fact that they've already lost 2 players. They do have the bomb control, though, which is always a good thing. The problem with this, though, is that on Vertigo, the rotation times, I mean, they're not that fast, but they're still moderately fast. And they can immediately just bring all these players in. Bowers taking down Forrester. Kinky responds with a kill to Veggie. And it all just comes down to Kinky, who will also get popped through the smoke.
Not a happy place to find yourself in, realistically. Dying through the smoke is always problematic, but now we have to wait to see whether ILLUMINAR can continue through and chain a few together. You know Hard Legion's going to buy up with the firepower being the way it is for them, and with the fact that the CT economy is at the point where it can still be broken. It's still in a bit of a bizarre area. You're going to be having some difficult times. So Hard Legion, the question is, can they bring these tech lines together to get something quick? They've actually gone through the flames in through mid. Riats, though, is very happy about that because that means he gets a few free kills with the UMP.
Hard Legion, not much to work with. They're just trying to hope for a kill or 2 here and there because they know that for the CT side, the damage is so necessary. Forrester and Crad. Oh, I like this cheeky little angle. Forrester is trying to pick up a kill from there. Unfortunately for him, though, not able to connect the shot, but he shuts me up as he takes down Reitz. Brad around the corner, a 1D, the pure stopping power of the Deagle coming to play, but now Z has something to say about it as Crad goes down. Forrester tapping away with the Deagle, not able to find anything just yet, and the bomb is in the vicinity of the CTs, jiggling around the stairs, playing this to perfection. The movement god Forrester himself might have just given him a new name for one play.
I don't think that's sticking. Yeah, I don't think that's sticking. I'm sorry.
Ah. Listen,
Still.
Forrester, I mean, I know you paid me for this. I tried, but it's just not working out.
Well, he might be able to work out regardless. The question is, are they expecting him? And the answer is yes. Snacks sees all, Snacks knows all, and Snacks will find you and kill you very, very quickly. 4-3, and look at that quick little replay that we have. Crad, great 1D, swings out, perfect adjustment of his crosshair. That wasn't even crosshair placement, but that's the important thing to keep an eye on. Look at this. Slow down, immediate micro adjustment. You barely catch her on the stream, and it's beautiful stuff.
The one thing I've noticed is that for ILLUMINAR, instead of trying to contest ramp with the AWP, they've been taking different angles, like coming in from connector. Snacks just had to retreat because Crad pushed up with the P250. I think I would have preferred the AWP on ramp, but if this is working out for them, then not really much to say about it. Snacks already picking up a kill against Crad. Kinky quite low on HP, just a deagle in his hands. Hard Legion, they just haven't been able to catch a break right now. Reese, take down Kinky. Trying to contest ramp here. Rage is able to pick up a kill, 2 versus 4. And luckily for them, it's Forrester that's alive and not for long. For a second there, I thought we were going to see a repeat of the previous round.
I mean, they lost the previous round, so technically.
Technically, but I mean, I just wanted to see those Forrester plays happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everyone would quite like that. He's sitting on 10 kills and 5 deaths right now, despite his team being behind 2 rounds. That is very impressive, but now he has the AK-47. And now you see them not quite having full utility, but just enough to be able to justify, you know, fighting out perhaps for ramp a little bit more aggressively. So far, we've seen them falling in mid quite a bit. So far, we've seen them having troubles over into the bomb site, but maybe this is going to be different. Kinky moving forward very quickly. Flashes, however, a great on the return. Innocent is still here to fight, and he will put up a key fight of Crad's life as he loses it. Innocent continues on, reacts to chime in with another, and Kinky's done much so far, although Rage was hoping to change that. That was a quick round.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I'd like to point out here is the fact that even though Snacks is playing the AWP around the mid area, he recognizes that that's where you can easily get caught out. So as soon as he sees the flashbangs, he repositions, and Innocent is there to back him up. So they have this wombo combo going on where the AWP is watching the tiniest angle where he can give the information to Innocent so he can swing out wide to try to protect him. Now, this is not something that Hard Legion is ready for. That's why it has been working out consistently for ILLUMINAR. Despite the fact that Kinky went up close and personal with the flashbang from his teammate, they weren't able to catch Snacks just because he's always ready for that push.
Yeah, the world has some really good anti-flashes from the side of ILLUMINAR to make sure that he wouldn't be caught out, but obviously a good spot from you there. And Riyad's. I know you're supposed to bug out over towards ramp, but long-range eagle shots through the smokes aren't the easiest thing to get on the best of days. And here, we're going to have Innocent just take down Crad quickly as he does fall back off. Innocent's been great over towards mid. You pointed out in the previous round as well how effective he's been. And right here, it's Rage to find something, but something is not enough.
Yeah, I think over towards mid, it's pretty much been deathmatch. Innocent has been working it so effectively, but now Rage has been able to pick up his bread and butter, the AWP. Let's see if he can do something with it, but look at the bomb's position, though. This just makes it a lot harder for them. Are they going to opt to save the AWP? Ooh. I think Rage is going to be caught out by this little double stack setup. There's no way in hell that he's able to get that shot and get the refrag. Even if he had gotten Veggie there, I think the backup was there, so he didn't have to worry much about it. Sviat is desperately trying to die.
Aren't we all?
Maybe a little.
No, absolutely not. We're all dying to go to Malta, which is where the party's at. Yeah, yeah. Easy sponsorship plugs. They have upped their presence so much in esports, and I mean, what they're doing is just fantastic for it. It's always good to see an NGO, a governmental body, something like that, getting involved. Everyone knows esports is the future. Everyone knows it's great, but it's about letting the legislators know. It's about letting the lawmakers know, and it's about letting Riaz know, because he's just suffered the bad part of esports, which is getting headshot by Crad early on into a round. And now he's going to be a spectator, which is great, but not quite as much as being the one doing the headshotting.
For the first time, I think Hard Legion have gotten a comfortable pick where they don't have to worry about an immediate refrag, and just trying to play off of this numbers advantage is probably what they're hoping for. Let's see the kind of play that they're going to go for, though. Riat's already having been taken down. That is a big plus for Hard Legion. Ooh, Crad. Oh, Crad almost had that kill, but Innocent ducking at the perfect time there is able to equalize the numbers. The terrorist side, still, they do manage just because of the nature of the terrorist side.
Molly flying through. Snacks is still in a really good position over here, though. If Hard Legion want to be coming up this ramp, they're not being contested on ramp itself, but coming up is going to be very difficult. Unfortunately, Forrester finds one Rage, and Fiat are in perfect positions to follow up, and it'll be fantastic stuff. Innocent is left in a 1v4. He knows it's up to him to find some damage, but I would really like to see him save here. His team have good money, but Mouse does not. So when you start to have to drop for him, if Hard Legion get a few more of those rounds where they can creep into alley, where they can go forward, money is going to be a big problem for ILLUMINAR at the very end of the first half, which is the worst possible time.
Yeah, but I think at least for now, they're looking pretty comfortable because they do have a Veggie on 10,000, Innocent on 9,100.
Oh, yeah.
So at least for a couple of rounds, they should be safe as long as they can manage to close them out. But still, economic damage, always a big threat for the CT side. And I think Hard Legion won that round off of the first pick that wasn't refragged. And I'm maybe, so you can correct me on this, but I think this was the first time where they were able to comfortably get a pick in a very long time where it wasn't immediately refragged. That's why they were able to maneuver around and really make ILLUMINAR reposition.
I mean, forget refragged. I think that's the first time they've just been getting the first pick.
Wasn't going to make that claim because I'm not 100% sure, but that might have been the case.
It's fine. Most of the rounds that we've seen them trying to take mid control, they haven't gotten them first pick. You know, that is just the case.
Immediately just getting picked up by either Snacks, or if Snacks unpeaks, then Innocent is there to pick it up. So yeah, I think that combo is just not working out for them too well.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. That's where it changed in the previous round. You know, they did get that first kill, which is obviously very important. With this, though, ramp control will begin. Flashbang comes in that's supposed to allow someone to push forward, and it is Veggie to have moved in a little bit. Veggie's holding the angle. There is the one-way smoke coming up from the T side, and Veggie, well, he's got to get the first, and he backs off after as well. He's safe for now, but they're spraying away. A great nade will do so much damage as Veggie is brought down, but after doing more than his part, unfortunately, Snack can't quite claim the same. Innocent will be the one to come in and lift up that burden. Rage making a bit of noise, so his position is revealed, and Innocent will exploit it very quickly. Now, Forrester and Rage left in the 2v3. They're wondering how they can go about planting this bomb because they don't have the smoke to prevent the visibility on either side. You can't go for the left wall, you can't go for the right wall, you can't go for any wall. And with the Molotov coming in, even the bomb plant is going to be a very costly affair. Molly was a little bit earlier, might have been able to get a bit more for delayed time. Riaz was unfortunately not quite close enough to chuck out the grenade. That's what I'm actually a little bit sad about. Innocent does go down. Rage realizes he needed to be aggressive, plays around the elevator corner perfectly to find that pick, and now it's up for a little bit more as Rage continues through. Rage almost finding the third, but Riaz comes right back and gets himself both Rage and Forrester. Bomb diffusers there. He has the kit. And what a way to finish that round by Riaz.
Even though Rage got pretty aggressive there on the retake, I think what his teammate was looking for there, or at least what the ideal play would be, for him to be quite aggressive and let the bomb be planted straight off the bat instead of waiting for the utility to come in. If he was aggressive earlier, then I think he would have been able to catch the utility straight off the bat and get the 2 versus 2 situation going on where they would essentially have the positional advantage. But still, a valiant attempt from Rage. And this time, though, look at Snacks, who has repositioned himself towards the ramp area. I think they realize that maybe they need to switch things up. The whole mid-Innocent and Snacks combo isn't really working as well as they'd like it to, because it really came down to the retake.
Mouse is good with that first frag, and we've talked about how hard Legion have been struggling and giving that up pretty consistently. Sviat will find the return though, and refrags are there this time on the T side. Snacks is trying to be cheeky and find something, but it is not happening for now. He does switch out for the rifle. I think that means he wants to get aggressive into the scaffolding itself. Can't just keep playing that. And it's actually wow, Mouse is getting really aggressive. The check is behind. You'd be expecting him to just wait for the push, but I guess he just do threaten as Crad is going to be available on either side. Riaz, though, will be fortunate enough to locate him. Unfortunately, though, he reveals his position in doing so, and it's all about getting some fadeaway kills, which he is good for. 3v2, and the CTs are trying to congregate around this bomb site, but the T's have still got ample utility to keep them back. Sviat is playing a very careful angle. He's in a 1v3, finds a first, but he knows he's been boxed in from either side. It will be a difficult place. He's claustrophobic and he can't breathe, and Snacks will put an end to his misery. The 9th round coming in from the CT side. ILLUMINAR, 28.7% win rate is about to turn to 30.
And on the flip side, Hard Legion, their win rate is about to drop. But honestly, though, I think Hard Legion is just having a very tough time catching a break, because they're winning. They're losing all of these retakes. They're losing a lot of these clutch situations where they are in the realm of possibility. So perhaps they also need a bit of luck on their side. But it does come down to really good utility usage by ILLUMINAR and just having a general understanding of Vertigo that Hard Legion is not able to come up with answers to.
Crad. You need to step up here. You need to be the big star that we know you can be. And this is the problem, because Snacks is just picking him off. The first pick is always on the CT's hands. They're always the ones to spill blood first. They're always fine with it. They're always good with it. And Hard Legion is finding out the hard way that it's pretty damn difficult to play this game with a man down, especially on Vertigo. So Snacks, who is now also creeping in all the way down ladder room to the back of ramp, he's looking for a stab, and Snacks will be spotted. Forrest is actually backed off. He's not expecting this. Snacks long range will find the first, sprays down for 2, and now it's a 1v4.
I think that play...
What a round from him.
Yeah, I think the play by Snacks there was pivotal, because just being behind off is... I mean, it's so obvious. Like, it doesn't even need saying it, to be honest. The fact that he's right behind them, completely obliterating them, and somehow Hard Legion not being able to collect that information. Just perfect timing coming out from Snacks. ILLUMINAR now finally on double digits. Hard Legion, it's starting to look like it might be a repeat of the 16-6. If they're able to get those 2 rounds, and otherwise it might even be a 16-4. So, hey, improvements for ILLUMINAR.
Well, they find the first kill. Unfortunately, Veggie reminds them that he still exists on the map. However, a 3v3, doable. 5-10, I could see them coming back from that. You know, it's much more doable than the 11-4. The pistol round is so much more significant on 5-10, and with the kind of players that you've got on Hard Legion, I could definitely see them running away with that. Innocent, though, goes down. Will they check Riatz's corner? Not in time, at least, as he comes through with 2 kills. He's been so good so far. The 1v2 he won earlier, and this particular play, all of them really sealing his deal as the MVP for me so far. But Crad, he doesn't want to give up the MVP slot too easily. He's picked up the bomb, and he's picked up himself, and he's all the way going back. He's going all the way back to B. The question is, are we going to see the good old double didgeridoo? No. No, we're not. It is not going to be the double didgeridoo. It is just going to be the 1v1.
Brad looking like a pretty comfortable bomb plant. Nope.
Oh!
What was that? Snacks being tapped out of existence, just sent home from Vertigo. I think at this point he just takes off his headset, puts away his mouse and keyboard, and he's like, you know what? It's perfect because I'm already at home or the gaming house or whatever.
Oh. Hey,
Why,
hey. That's sexy. That's what it is.
That was insane, but I still do have to commend Snacks, though. I mean, a lot of Illuminar's rounds have been just off of the basis of the information manipulation that he's been doing, like going towards ramp with the AWP, so they switch up their style of play around mid, and then they're still punished on B, and then on one of these rounds, he goes towards A, tries to play off of the scaffolding, plays off of the railing, just makes it very difficult for them, just the claustrophobia all across the board because they constantly have to worry about an AWP. Now, let's see what Hard Legion are going to do on the CT side, though.
That is the big question, as Illumina have already found a lot of ground. Unfortunately, they've lost a man, but Kinky and Rage are here to step up and save the day. Rage still fighting back. He got too aggressive. He bit off more than he could chew, and Mouse is reminding him that chew on this. Unfortunately, Crad quite likes eating his veggies, and that's why he's eating him alive. He's the cat, he's found the mouse, he's eaten the veggie, and Riat is the last one to fall. There was no real joke I can make about that, so it's okay. But he just made Illumina look like a bit of a joke themselves on that pistol round.
I mean, hey, Hard Legion has 6 points on the board, so things are already looking up. They have 6 rounds before the 16, so that's an improvement, I think. If they're able to get any subsequent rounds, but which they should. But then the question is,
wish sounds. I'm sorry, but I really love the wish sounds. Like wish. Malta postcard. Go on.
yeah, the T side. What I was gonna say is that the terrorist side, the nature of the bomb plant is that now they have 3 AK-47s on their hand. I mean, that's not to say that Hard Legion's going to be any slouches, because they also have 4 M4s. But still, just the stopping power of the AK-47. Let's see if this works out for them. In Hard Legion, they desperately need this round. They cannot afford the economic loss that comes with it in the event that they somehow drop this round. The Deagles, for some reason, the Deagles are going to be leading the charge despite not having Kevlar. I mean, not sure if I agree with this. But Maus, the wielder of the AK-47, picks up the first kill. Sviat in the perfect position to get the first one with Reeds. Will be making their life so much harder as Rage has been eliminated. Sviat so low on HP. It's just Forrester and Kinky that are healthy enough to be bringing it back into this round. The numbers advantage for the terrorist side, but 50 seconds on the clock and the bomb is yet to go down. Ooh, Snacks could be in a great position for this flank.
And this is where Illumina, they are going for the encapsulation, but they might have waited too long. Innocent's position is great, but it will not be used, as he will have his teammates stealing away his firepower, stealing away his thunder. But thunder and lightning will strike along with Sviat if he can just find the timing. Kinky, he's the second man in that 1-2 punch. Can they knock him out? Sviat finds the first. Kinky knows he's been given some time to play around. Kinky sees the second. Can he finish him off? He's missing shots, and you can't do that. Sviat is left alone, and alone he will die. That was all on Kinky. He had the M4A1. He had the laser beam, but the laser beam was sprayed everywhere. But on the man itself, 11 rounds for Illumina. A heartbreaking manner for Hard Legion to lose that one.
Remember when I said it's an improvement from last time? Ah, have to take those words back. But that was a bit of an unlucky round there because Fiat, there were two instances where he was behind all of them, but he just couldn't find the timing to potentially pick off 3 players, and then he was just left in a 1 versus 2. So, a bit of a tough call, but Illuminar now capitalizing off of their 3 AK-47s. They've put themselves in a pretty comfortable spot. Not the same can be said for Hard Legion, though, as they're forced onto these pistols. But they do have Kevlar and they do have Deagles, which can always be deadly. Dub the pocket AWPs. Kenki already giving some meaning to that name as he takes down Veggie in a single shot.
Krad's a big one, though. He is the big boy deagle god of this team. And I want to see him put it to use. I want to see this from him. Forrester's been good. He's had his moments. Krad has had a few too. But so far, it's not been something fantastic. And this round will be no different. Snacks and Mouse just come in. Sviat is the one who's finding one quick one. But Krad, he's got a chance. Snacks is right around the corner without much HP. It's a 3v3. Can they recover any AKs? Doesn't look like it. They can't really recover much at all, especially in the way of map control, because Forrester, he's going to be the only person to be able to get back to the B site on time. I say that, but Krad is there too. The two deadly duo. Forrester's position is not expected whatsoever. He gets a pop shot in, but it's not to the head. He's re-peeking out, gets another one, but again, aim not quite there. Sviat, however, has an AK-47, has armor, a flashbang, and a smoke. If there was ever a round where he's going to come alive, this is it, and he is ready to prove himself. Both players are splitting up on the T side. They're trying to back off. Sviat is trying to make sure he doesn't make any noise. He will not be spotted just quite yet, but the same can be said for the T side. Sviat is seeing Snax' position, and now it's a 1v1 when he knows exactly where that smoke came from, and with a smoke of his own, he can just go for the straight defuse, and it looks like he will be sticking it, but will he be given the chance? He doesn't have the kit. He knows there's not much time. Hard Legion, they're trying to play this with the early kill, but Innocent is just playing it to perfection. He knew no matter what happened, there would never be a kit in his hands.
Yeah, insult to injury, not even being able to win the duel there. Illuminar now on 12 points. Hard Legion, they're so close to suffering a loss yet again, and they don't even have any money to work off of. This is pretty much looking like this may be a 13-6 before Hard Legion can do anything, but Hard Legion have something to say about this. They're not saving. They're buying up as much as they can. Krad on the scout rifle and Deagles all across the board. A bit of utility there as well. And the interesting thing is that just based off of the economy, Rage really hasn't had the opportunity. That's something that we talked about in the pregame, where we thought that Rage should be able to do something off of ramp control and maybe potentially just control with the AWP moving around the map. Hasn't really come to fruition because he hasn't truly been given the chance.
I think that's a very valid point to bring up. Rage will not have the op. That is simply a fact at this point. If they want to keep force buying, you lose this round, you're looking at a 14-6. Even then, what, Rage gets you up in one round, maybe? Even if they win that, if he goes down, that's all?
Yeah, there's a potential for him not even being able to rebuy, even if he does manage to win a couple of rounds with the AWP.
Oh. Great kill from Riyad's and Innocent to follow up. It's just a straightforward cleanup. Illuminar keep 4 players alive. Money's not the biggest of deals to them when they're 13-6 up, but Hard Legion, money's a pretty big deal to them. Rage, he will have the $2,900 loss bonus in the next round, so op will be there, but he just hasn't been given a chance, and even then he's sitting on 9 kills, which sure may not sound like much when you're the primary opper, and you've not had an op a single time this entire game, you have to forgive him.
Yeah, I think one of the major ways that they even had a chance was off of the AWP, but hasn't been given the option, and you can just see them getting mowed down. Veggie taking down Krad. Now the bomb is going towards ramp, I believe. Sorry, it's a little messed up for me, but yeah, I think the bomb isn't even close to them right now. Just one player to try to try to defend the A bomb site. Bomb goes down comfortably, and with these AK-47s, shouldn't be a challenge for ILLUMINAR to pretty much solidify this.
Should be a pretty straightforward solution for ILLUMINAR to keep on doing the exact same thing that they've been doing. Hard Legion. See, here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried they're not going to get an op on Rage. I just think they're not going to do it. I think they're going to say, oh yeah, let's opt for utility. And that is the worst possible situation for me. No, okay. Kinky's dropping it. All right, okay. We're going to see it come through. That's good.
Yeah, but I think your worry is like, I think you should have been worrying 10 rounds ago. At this point, it's pretty much a fact that unless Raids can pull off something crazy, the AWP is not going to matter that much, because you have to keep in mind that the money will pretty much always be bad on Hard Legion. Now, the chances that he drops the AWP in one round or the other, very high, and as soon as that happens, I don't think they're going to be able to go for the revive. And what is that? What is happening on ramp?
Well, it's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of death. The T's are coming out ahead over there. 2 players down on the CT side. Rage, however, the equalizer, brings it to a 3v3. Let's see how it goes as we move on. Forrester and Kinky will roll up their sleeves and get ready to battle. The question is, though, will rolling up your sleeves do much more than just have them torn off later on? Innocent takes down Forrester. Rage and Kinky. Not much you can do if the bomb is planted and Kinky's down. Rage is left in a impossible situation. I would not hate him for saving. You know, I would not hate him for saying, guys, listen, you've not let me up throughout this game. I'm going to save. And I'll see if I can get some kills in the next round. I'll see if I can get aggressive. Because that is something Rage didn't do. And I don't know if it's spawn dependent, but Rage did not go for the aggro ramp control pick with Crad going in straight to alley. He just didn't. So when the op is playing passively on ramp and doing the exact opposite of what it needs to, I'm worried again. So the question for me is, am I going to see Rage try and change that around in the next round? And something tells me no. Quick note, in front of Rage, there's a stack of boxes which look like pizza boxes.
Interesting information. I shall be sure to note that.
Indeed.
This is looking like deja vu, though. I mean, Hard Legion pretty much about to amount to the 16-6, the horrific 16-6 that they've faced before. And I think saying that ILLUMINAR's chances up against a, on paper, better team, Hard Legion, were definitely something that we would see more on Vertigo than anything else. But it's still, you can't count them out. Just because they're absolutely destroying on Vertigo doesn't mean they won't do the same on the other maps.
Well, there you go. Hard Legion, somehow, to sneak together a win. They're not going to be kicked out of this tournament just quite yet. They're not ready to go to the second map. They're not ready to try and fight for the 3-map series. And neither are we. We want them to take it to overtime. We haven't had one so far in... Well, actually, you were casting 9 to 5, not Malta vibes. So there is that. But we need to get an overtime on our first day, so let's make that happen. Here, though, Mouse has been tagged up early with the AK-47 in his hands, so he's not going to be looking to get any of his aggressive shenanigans on yet again. The B-bomb site is not going to be an easy destination to penetrate, but Snacks has gotten control of mid already. There's nothing that the CTs can do to take it back from him, as they will find themselves in the Molotov. And as I say that, Kinky burns himself alive, is down to 4 HP, but he gets 2 kills in the process of doing so, so I'm sure he's happy with that trade, and he's very happy with proving me wrong. Forrester, however, still needs to put up.
ILLUMINAR moving right into the bomb site. Forrester, though, oh, he's in a great position because they're not going to immediately check it. He is able to pick up 1 kill, and that leaves Hard Legion in a advantageous 3 versus 1 as Rage materializes the AWP and is able to pick up a 2nd kill. Now, it might have been a good decision after all to cling to that AWP, because on one hand, it's great that they stuck to the AWP and finally Rage is able to show up a little bit with it. But is it a little bit too late? I think seven
Yes.
rounds, you're trying to get 7 rounds in a row
Uh,
without dropping the AWP and having the money consistently. I think that's a bit too difficult.
well, I just think it's too late because I would have liked to see it, see him on it earlier. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't see a miracle come through. Miracles can be bought in the small price of $4,750 at times. And let's see whether Rage has been sold a ripoff or whether he's been sold a genuine product. Crad, hoping to spray through, but he bought the cheaper pack. He got the 3,200, sorry, 3,100 one. You know, not quite.
Just doesn't have the
not
same
quite
move.
miracle fuel. Yeah. That's what happens when you cheap out, Crad. And Innocent, he's cheaped out quite a bit, but he doesn't need a miracle. He more just needs a football to kick around all over the place. Molotov is not spreading. That money's not spreading to the CT player. And I don't think they realize that. And he hasn't had to smoke it off because of it. So Crad, his position is flawless. It's going to be impeccable. It's going to be unnoticeable. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, this is going to maybe just rock Illuminar's world.
Yeah, I think it's Krad's position that is pivotal here because they have no idea that Molotov just did not work out in their favor. He swings out wide, but he's not able to get a single kill. Now that has got to be hurtful. They had no idea that he was there, but they were still able to react to it. 30 seconds on the clock now. The terrorists have to make something happen. Sviat in a pretty strong position, but it does not come to life. Reed is able to pick his head away. Innocent follows suit. It's a 2 versus 4. Is Rage is up going to be what they need to bring it back into the game? Forrester, though, has something else to say about it because he knows that he can make something happen with the 3,100 package too. 2-on-3. Forrester, his HP slowly being whittled away. Rage fighting for his life in a 1 versus 2. Now it's 15-8. They just need 1 point, and Illuminar will be on their way to a victory. Rage taps the bomb. He has the defuse kit, but he knows that getting spammed by 2 people is not on his bucket list for the day. Spamming away with a 5-7. Gets the shot on Snacks. He just needs to pick up 1. Is he going to be peeking? And he misses the shot. That is not right. Rage. Oh, that is too late. He almost had it back in there. I'm not sure, but if he had hit that shot, I think he might have had it just in the nick of time, but not going to be the case. 16-8, Illuminar picks up the first map.
Well, listen, I know what Rage did, and Rage said, guys, I top fragged, even though I just had the AWP for 3 rounds. So let me have the bloody AWP next time we're playing Vertigo. Thank you very much. That's, Rage, if I'm here in your shoes, I'm saying, in-game leader, look at this. This is my case. This is my case study. This proves we are not very good at Vertigo, but I am very good at 4750 Miracles. So please let me have that earlier. And that's what I wanted to see from them. Unfortunately, just wasn't the case. And I have to say the T side was abysmal. But on CT's side, where you thought they'd fight back, they just weren't buying the op. They were just force buying all the time.
Yeah, I think we pretty much outlined at the start of the game that it would be Rage that would change the outcome of the game. And to see the contrast unfold before our very eyes, to be able to see, okay, this is how they perform without the AWP, and then this is how they perform when they do have the AWP. So I think that's for our ego, that's great to see, to be able to point that out right away, but not too great for the ones that are on the receiving end, unfortunately.
Oh, listen. Good things come to those who wait, and I guess it's time to wait for the next game, because that should be a really, really good one. Overpass, where we know the Hard Legion are pretty comfortable, and I am very comfortable in saying I think it's going to go to 3-map series. So be sure to go get yourself some water, get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself something good to eat, because we've got you the one thing that you really want. That's some great Counter-Strike coming your way in just a bit. We'll be back in a few minutes. welcome back to the good old Malta days, the Malta vibes. We've got ourselves game number 2 of what should be a fantastic series, which is probably going to go to 3. If you're just tuning in, where the hell were you? And if the answer isn't Malta, then the answer's wrong. And yes, I will say Malta as many times as I can on this broadcast. It's practically a
Malta, Malta,
contractual
Malta, Malta.
requirement.
Yeah.
See,
If we
this is
don't
the
say Malta,
difference,
we don't get paid.
Don't tell them that. But we do actually have ourselves Overpass coming up pretty soon. ILLUMINAR just dismantled Hard Legion on Vertigo. Had a very good time watching that. And what are you hoping from them on Overpass? Because I realistically, we're both favoring Hard Legion to win it. Is there a win condition for you? I know you were particularly impressed by some of what they did on Vertigo.
So I think the one thing that would work for ILLUMINAR, as it did on Vertigo, again, I think this point really needs to be drilled home. It's the fact that they need to be able to outstrat Hard Legion. Now, just because they've won Vertigo doesn't mean this is going to be an easy series. I mean, I think for the average spectator, if they just come in and they start watching, they'll be like, oh, okay, ILLUMINAR is pretty much hammering Hard Legion right now. But that is not going to be the case on every map, and we can see that because of the historical data we have. We can see that Hard Legion has been consistently beating better teams, but they haven't been doing too well on Vertigo. And I mean, their win percentage just got further buried into the ground. It was 6 feet under, now it's like 7 feet or so.
Well, listen, man, are you saying Twitch chat? Are you trying to insult Twitch chat over here and their understanding of Counter-Strike? See, that's mistake number 1. That is mistake number 1, man. But it's okay. It's okay.
And you can only get one mistake when you're dealing with Twitch chat, unfortunately.
No, you don't even get that one. Trust me. I know. I've been doing this for a while now. They don't wait for a mistake. They don't wait for a mistake. They are on your heels beforehand. But Hard Legion are going to be on the heels of an ILLUMINAR as they are trying to be biting and snapping and coming back into it. I'm not going to lie. I was a bit disappointed by some of the individual performances. Grad had his moments, Forrest had his moments, but we need a lot more than moments. We need a full game. We need them to come through and completely destroy ILLUMINAR on individual capacity. And you know what? We've got ourselves a knife round. So let's see who can pick that one up. Overbuzz, obviously, one of the last few maps, which I would say is actually still CT-sided, one way or another. So let's see how it goes.
I'm going to call it right now. Whoever wins the knife round, and we can clearly see it, I think they win the series. Oh, there we go. Hard Legion. As you can see by my top tier. Oh, really? Oh, God. I think the names are switched around. All right, ILLUMINAR wins the series.
Oh, dear. You managed to mess up the easy prediction where you could even see... Well,
listen, man, it happens.
Let's see. It might still be the case. It might still be ILLUMINAR running away with it. The problem for me is, more than anything else, I think that a lot of ILLUMINAR's success in the previous round came from Snacks and Innocence combined play with the op. And the way they were playing the op can't be played on Overpass the same way. You can't play information op on Overpass. You have to play aggressive op on Overpass. You have to play impact op on Overpass. And I'm not saying that Snacks wasn't impactful, but he wasn't really getting the kills to the same extent on Vertigo. He found a role and he was executing it perfectly, but you need more than that when it comes to this particular map. So I'm a bit worried, but maybe Hard Legion, they're not having a great day, and maybe ILLUMINAR is going to be rock them and their world.
Hard Legion already trying to establish control of A long. Oh, I like the strategy. I mean, I think they're initially going to go for the toilet stake, which they should be because of how difficult it is to deal with the threat from toilets if they do not clear it out initially. Kinky, though, he has this information. Sorry, Reitz. He has this information. He's able to take down Sviat. One player, though, he's already crossed into connector, and the bomb is not in a very great position. Did they just drop the bomb straight off the bat? I think this is going to be a huge threat for Hard Legion. Reitz is still trying to establish her in the toilets area, but it's not going to work out for too long. Snacks comes around the corner here on toilets, is able to take down Kinky. Another refrag follows suit from the hands of Crad. It's a 3 versus 2 now. The CTs started off with having the bomb and the initial pick, but now Hard Legion, they have the advantage.
For how long is that advantage going to be? Actually, pretty damn long. I thought Snacks was just going to turn around and take down Crad, but that's fine too. Crad got the USB. You've got 2 shots and 2 beautiful kills. Remember how I said Crad's really good at
Crad's really
shooting
good.
heads? You know what? We've got a replay of that right here.
Hard Legion, they're coming off swinging straight off the bat, despite the fact that they initially lost the bomb. They're like, you know what? I don't care. Crad just goes on, starts tapping heads left and right, and I think this kind of dominance is what we need from Hard Legion if they want to make it through the second map. ILLUMINAR obviously looking super strong on Vertigo, but as we mentioned already, that might be the only trick that they have in their bag.
Well, you say that. But we'll have to wait to find out. Snacks is a man of many kills, many words, and many tricks. We'll wait and find out. But right now, let's see exactly what's going to be happening. Forrester takes down Veggie. This 4v4 is going to be a little bit difficult for Hard Legion because they are whiling away the time quite a bit, and ILLUMINAR have realized it's going to be a B-side hit, but Mouse is down. The boost will net them a frag. Sviat is still continuing forward. He won't be able to find the quick kill early on. Molotov is not going to be finding anything, but Forrester's Galil sure as hell will. Snacks still fighting back. Rietz to find the quick kill from Heaven. Snacks wants to get himself into position here as well. But it's not going to be an easy retake, and at this point, you might as well try to save.
Scout could be essential for the next round because they've pretty much already given up this round, so it would be better if they could carry the Scout into the next round and maybe be a little bit more deadly with the Deagle plus Scout combo. But it looks like they're going to try to go for this retake. They don't really have that much time to work with, but Rietz with a sick 1 dig, and now this is the perfect opportunity for Snacks, for all he had to do was hit them once each, just because of how low they were. But that is not going to be the case.
Now, although ILLUMINAR gave themselves a very good chance in the previous round, they're not quite able to pull all the way through. Now it's Hard Legion's free round. This is where they just try to keep as many players alive as humanly possible, try to give themselves as much of a money buffer as humanly possible, and go into the next round hoping to pull off some magic.
ILLUMINAR, obviously not very much money to work with, and this is the kind of situation where I think the Scout Rifle would have been essential. But they're still going to try to make it work. Already a player down for the T side, but I don't think it matters very much to them because they do have the couple of Galils, they do have the AWP, they have the MAC-10 to work with. They're taking their sweet time, though. They know they have a minute on the clock. They don't want to run into a stack or anything. Innocent gets taken down. Forrester, he has 2 players to contend with. Takes down Mouse, tries to follow it up in connector, but Crad is there to say, you know what, buddy? You don't need to do all of the work. Let me pick up some of these eco kills, please. I need to buff my stats. 3-0, Hard Legion, coming off pretty strong.
Hard Legion are going to be now facing up against their one big contest. It will be Snacks' AWP, it will be the full buy, but not quite as full as you want to see. ILLUMINAR without a kit, ILLUMINAR without full utility, and both those things can be problematic on a map like Overpass. Rietz, he is quickly creeping inside connector. The rest of his team are also assembling a quick defense. No one aggressive on long, as Hard Legion will be finding out very soon. Snacks, however, could be giving some backup from bathrooms. And he realizes where Crad is, and he will be swift to bury him. Rage, his AWP is yet to taste blood, but it is very keen to do so. However, it has to wait for Snacks to make that peak, as Rage will get the refrag. 4 versus 4, and let's see what will happen.
They don't really have full control of the bomb site just yet. Very essential pick from Rage there because he's eliminated the one major threat in the form of an Opper, in the form of Snacks, over towards Bang. But now Innocent, he's going to be stepping into the shoes of Snacks, albeit with a different gun. He's smoked out though. Hard Legion should be getting the bomb plant very soon, but the Molotov will be impeding their progress. Riyad's coming up behind them. Unfortunately, missing those shots also means that Rage is wary to his tricks. ILLUMINAR suddenly rallying up the support for the retake. Veggie takes down Forrester. The bomb is slowly ticking down as the CT side is moving in. Sviat, though, he's already taken down Veggie. 2-on-2. The retake is definitely doable, but it's just Riyad's left in a 1-on-2. And he has the AWP to worry about, so 2 tough angles, and I don't think he has the time anymore. Doesn't have a defuse kit, so he's just going to be backing off with the AWP. Rage tries to take that away from him, but it's not going to matter as Riyad's, he gets it. Oh? That is not great.
Yeah, ILLUMINAR, despite finding the early man advantage through Snacks' opping, I talked about how Snacks needed to get aggressive, and I actually quite liked that play. I really liked how he's able to get the first kill, but re-peeking over to long when you've seen a player already coming from long into the toilets. The thing is that when Crad jiggle peeks that out, you know he's playing for information. You know he's playing to see whether there could be a flank coming in behind. If he's the one checking for that, there are at least 2 other players on long. And if they're already there on long, if they're already crossed past bathrooms, re-peeking out without jiggling outrageous shot, without a flashbang to help you, without anything of the sort, that is suicide. So Snacks gets overly confident, and at the end of it all, he goes down. And I know I asked for aggression, but measured aggression is very important with it all.
Yeah, definitely. There was no reason where he would have to re-peek on long, especially when he knows that there's a potential Opper on the enemy side. I think giving up control over towards long, that is pretty much the starting point of where Hard Legion was able to move into the bomb site. Otherwise, they could have just been pretty passive. Now, Snacks got in pretty close with the Deagle, but he's not really able to materialize it and close it out onto Crad, who has been knocked down to 11 points of health. ILLUMINAR, very little money to work with, so all they have is Deagles, and that's sort of the cruelty of the CT side. Just pretty much never a condition where they can feel comfortable about the money. And Hard Legion, they've already made it so difficult.
Well, ILLUMINAR, at this point, you're still... At least they have a chance. You know, this Deagle can go insane. Innocent angle's not been checked, and what a shot from him! Kinky, however, closes it out at just 1. And although Hard Legion will probably be maybe a little bit moved by it, it won't be the biggest of deals. Kinky, he finishes off that round of their Riats, and Mouse will just be taking their Deagles forward, maybe looking to see if they can find some quick little exit kills, get in behind them while they're trying to retreat out. But Hard Legion, I don't really think they'll be coming from Monster. If they do, however, you could see quite a bit of damage being dealt. ILLUMINAR, not a round they had much of a shot in, much hope in regardless, but, you know, if they can get some damage, that's good. I'm quite surprised they're not going for this more aggressively, to be perfectly honest. Like, these Deagles are not very important to save into the next round.
Yeah, I think instead of damage, what they really want is the ability to be able to pick up these weapons, because they don't have any money to work with. Perhaps taking a couple exit frags and getting an AK-47 here and there, that would have been way more important than the prospect of saving a Deagle or just trying to run away with an exit frag. I mean, the AKs were what they were aiming for. I mean, what they should have been aiming for. Now, for Hard Legion, up 5-0, ILLUMINAR, not a single point on the board, and ILLUMINAR get a second chance at the gun round. This time around, Snacks is still going to be opting for the AWP, and let's see if his aggression works out this time around.
I really want him to come alive. I really need him desperately to just destroy a couple of people with the op. But for now, I think he might have chosen to get a little bit far back. Oh my god, never mind. Never mind. I lied. He did that thing again. But there is still a player right in the background. It could still be recovered. Mouse with the M4A1S playing from Optimus is going to be at a crucial point in this site. A minute and 20 left on the clock, though, means that Hard Legion is going to be having a field day if they just want to rotate over. Now, the problem is ILLUMINAR is just holding 2 and 2. They're not going for strong side, weak side. They're not going for a 3-1-1 setup. And that means that Riaz can swing out, take down Krad, bring it to a 4v3. And Innocent, well, he's looking to get frisky on his feet as well as Riaz goes down as he peeks out to Rage. You'd think they'd have learned their lesson after the previous round? Apparently not. Innocent, however, is the master, and he is here to do some teaching. Finds the one quick kill. Kink is brought down. And it's a 3v2 for Hard Legion.
25 seconds on the clock. Forrester is trying to catch Innocent off guard, but he really doesn't have time for these peaky plays. He does have bomb control, though, so he has that going for him. Unfortunately for Hard Legion, I don't think they have the time to even potentially clear out the bomb site. All they can hope for is a save, and I think that's what they're opting for. They need to save that AWP. I mean, even though they have pretty good money, the round loss bonus is not going to cover for the potential loss of Kevlar and an AWP. So, good stuff. Rage coming out alive with an irrespectable amount of money already in his pocket, and the AWP save, so he only needs to buy up the utility, and ILLUMINAR with their first round on the board.
They don't have the op the next round, though, and this is where Snacks get... Dude, okay, listen. Really good round for Luna. What the hell was that peak from Snacks?
Yeah, the repeaks are really coming back to bite him.
No. It's not even the repeat. He pushed into toilets. He didn't even have anything to hide behind for cover. Like, it's such a weird peak. But I don't want to blame him. I don't want to fault him. I'm just really curious. Now, Rage, in the meanwhile, is going for the good old-fashioned four-man boost. Oh, this is really common. I've never seen this before. Four-man boost from Rage.
No, I was just surprised by the timing because
okay.
Usually the timing of the train is very predictable, so it's a bit of a waste to just already be boosted up before the train. But I think it's all right if you're just fishing for the information because it's easier for you to see them when the train is crossing, like in between the rails.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might have been a bit slow to assemble the boost. Otherwise, you can generally get it together pretty quickly. So, that being said, Rage, he's still creeping forward. You love to see this with the op just coming through. Rage. It's Innocent to take down Kinky. It's Innocent to take down Sviat. Mouse does chime in with one as well. And look at this. Innocent, he's been everywhere whenever they needed him the most. Earlier on, destroying them from Optimus. Right now, it's an easy enough round for him. Just playing from Graffiti. Rage left in the 1v4. Nothing he can really do here.
The problem here still is that, I mean, obviously I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the win condition here for ILLUMINAR because, well, there's pretty much nothing Rage can do here. But for ILLUMINAR, I think the threat of the money is always going to be there. Hard Legion, you know that the T side is not as strong as the CT side in Overpass, but they're feeling very comfortable. They already have 5 rounds on the board. Even if they scrape by 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 more rounds, they're going to feel quite confident on the CT side. But on the other hand, ILLUMINAR, they need to work their way back into the game. And obviously, they do have the pressure of going up against a team like Hard Legion. Some of that pressure is mitigated by the fact that they're able to take away a map already. But obviously, Hard Legion, they've been very dominant on other maps, so you never know.
Molly, stand Molly coming up from Snacks, just making sure no one can cross over for free at least. Snacks is not the player with the Tech 9. It is in fact Sviat, who is a terrorist, which is why he has the Tech 9. Sviat though, lining up the good old toxic Molotov. Actually, that's one for Veggie as well to come through. Veggie's going to be forced off the position. Reed smokes out towards Monster. He's trying to spray through. He will get one before forced onto the reload. It's actually Mouse to cover him. Perfect play between the two of them. The team coordination is fantastic on this B bomb side, and ILLUMINAR looks like they've almost guaranteed themselves that third round. And Ray Crad, sure, he's got an AWP and an AK. And how much is that really going to mean?
I think Veggie was just starting to say his birds. He wasn't sure if Mouse was going to come in clutch. But yeah, really good combo there for him to be able to pick up the pieces when Veggie was on the reload. Sviat and Rage. Now an 8-2-1-5, 50 seconds on the clock. But luckily they do have the bomb. Just not that much time to work with, though. If Rage can get this opening kill, it's still going to be very difficult to work around because the refrag will be there. Rage, unfortunately, not even being able to get the first pick. Sviat picks up the second, tries to go for the third, is going to be able to catch it though, but the flashbang, perfect timing, and Maus off of that supportive flashbang is able to get Sviat.
And the op too. Very important.
Yeah.
Wait, is he keeping it?
Okay, I think he understands what Snacks has been doing. He's like, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Snacks Re-Peaking and Dying. This will be hosted by no one, because this time around, we're not giving him the AWP.
I mean, Snacks is obviously a legend in Counter-Strike, and
Yeah.
you definitely hate to see it. But right now, I think it's also a bit about spawn and where they want to send the op. On a serious note, Mouse, he's trying to maybe spread his wings a little bit with the op. He's playing it from heaven. Snacks, however, has been doing a very good job of getting aggressive towards Connector early on in the past few rounds. This time, he's playing a slightly more different angle. He's playing rotate, which is curious to say the least. He was very good supportive with supportive flash in the previous round, so maybe preempting a potential B hit, that could be the case. Meanwhile, they have crept up long and taken control of the toilet, so you're going to be seeing a lot of the pressure put onto Rian's shoulders.
Oh, very nice shot there from Kinky, but Innocent has something to say about that as Crad will be put in his grave. Are there more to come, though, as the T side charges in to the A bomb site? Snacks will not let them live for long, though. Innocent, Sviat, last man standing. Just hoping for as much damage as he can with the Tech 9, but nothing really comes to fruition, as Innocent will be putting him in his grave. Illuminar. Oh, they're about to tie up with Hard Legion. This is good stuff for Illuminar to come back into it from a 5-0.
Well, I really want to see what Mouse... I'll be honest, I'm quite curious about what Mouse is trying to do with the op, because so far he's just been holding a very basic angle. And again, we're seeing him... Okay, so this time he's a bit more aggressive towards that B-bomb side, towards Monster Channel. Right now, though, it's all about Snacks playing from inside toilets, who's playing very confidently at the entrance of it. So he's going to be having to worry about multiple angles, and the first contact should be coming in from Kinky. Snacks right around that corner. He's got an AK, so at least won't be a great flashbang. Paired up with Snacks' peak, finds him 2 kills, and that's just beautifully done. 3 versus 4.
All right, so look like we do have a few issues that we're still sorting out, but hopefully that's not going to matter too much. Hard Legion and Illuminar now finally tied up. Illuminar somehow bringing it back from a 5-0, a pretty dominant performance on the CT side, and I think Illuminar has pretty much been checking all the boxes that have been required from them. A couple of misplays here and there, especially on account of some of the aggression that hasn't really been working out for them. But the fact is that they've been able to pick up the pieces time and time again. Sviat already been taken down by Mouse. That puts the CTs again in a wonderful position to be able to move into the rest of the round. Illuminar looks like they're dedicated. They want to keep this lead on, but Pratt has something to say about that. He takes down Reeds, Veggie around the corner. The wombo combo with Innocent is going to work out beautifully as they take down 3, and Mouse finishes it off with another one. 6-5, Illuminar just looking so strong on the CT side. The fact is that every time Illuminar, they start dropping a player, as soon as they drop a player or two, they have an answer for it. So what we saw previously was that as soon as Snacks died, they had players to back him up. As soon as Veggie gets in trouble, Innocent is there to back him up from the barrels, and Mao's playing off of the heaven position sometimes, coming off towards Graffiti and able to quickly rotate towards A, just dynamically offing all across the board, is able to have his presence all across the map. Let's see what Illuminar can do with this aggression here. I think this is the first time that they've pushed up close to Playground, and they have 2 players pushed up, so a bit of a crossfire, but it doesn't seem to work out for them. Sviat takes down Innocent. Snacks immediately makes a snack out of him as he nades him out. Reeds, though, already bringing up the lead for the CT side. Rage and Crad now in a 2 versus 2. Nicely done by Crad to potentially open up the round.
Yeah. This is a big one for them to be able to walk away with. Illuminar, they've got the lead. Hard Legion do not want them to sustain it. That's why Crad comes in the back lines, takes down Mouse immediately. Veggie's left in the 1v2. Bomb has not been picked up yet by the Hard Legion boys, as they are still working around, doing what they can and trying to figure it out.
Let's see if this play works out for Veggie. I mean, 1 versus 2. Is he going to be able to keep the lead going for Illuminar? Because he's been playing so well right now. Oh, he adds a kill to the scoreboard. Crad goes down. 1 versus 1 now. I'm not sure if he has the position on Rage. Oh, Rage catches him from the side. Also gets the extra money from the bomb. Wait, did he? Did he get the little bit of bomb money? Well, doesn't matter. Hard Legion, bring it back to the tie. We're like, all right, we're not going to let you get away with this too far. But yeah, I think Veggie was in a pretty great position. He just wasn't able to find the angle.
Yeah, it's getting into difficult territory for Hard Legion. They have to be very, very careful as they move on. 6-6, it's anyone's game. This is the big round for deciding who exactly will be able to seal the fate of the universe, basically. Snacks on the AWP is hoping that it could be him to come through large and in charge. Crad, not found any information yet. The CTs are playing a very passive hold, very, very focused around connector and toilets. Snacks is hoping to find a quick pick as they will be coming in from Fountain, and let's see how it goes. Meanwhile,
ooh, Forrester.
I will give you permission. You are free to go. Go for it.
This position from Snacks, though, I mean, we haven't really seen him have that much success towards toilets. And this time, it's not going to be a different story at all. Kinky's somehow able to outspeed the AWB player. Just Sonic on the board. With the Galil, too, so not even a one-shot headshot. That was insane for... That was just insane.
Yeah, indeed. It's just incredibly difficult, actually, to figure it out. But we are also at a place where Kinky is still alive and kicking, and I thought maybe Innocent would have a chance, but Kinky just takes him down immediately. And honestly, a lot of that round comes down to an unfortunate scenario. I'm not even going to blame Snacks for that one. I think his positioning was perfect when you consider there was only one player there. Kinky just somehow managed to get 2 kills. Not 2 kills, sorry, 2 headshots, which just immediately connected the dome. Pre-firing that angle with the Galil onto an AWPer that is crouched down and getting 2 straight headshots is ridiculous. Like, I'm not a player who's going to, point out individual plays. That's you, but I'm sure you agree.
I mean, if that happened to me on Faceit, that's where I unplug my keyboard, unplug my mouse, and I'm like, you know what? Hello.
That guy's hacking.
Yeah, hello, Faceit support. This is not what I bought premium for.
You haven't bought premium. You absolute liar, you cheapskate. Odd Legion, though, they are the truth. And they're up 7-6. This is the round that changes everything for the side of ILLUMINAR. They've chosen to buy up. They've chosen not to try and go for the 7-8. They desperately want to be able to come out on top. But the problem is, even if they win this one, it's not guaranteed that they have an economic advantage. And if they lose this one, then dear God help them.
Yes, somehow Hard Legion, they look like they're kicking back. For a second, their ILLUMINAR just seem to be making quick work of them, but it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Hard Legion, like I said before, Hard Legion were pretty much in a comfortable position where they just had to scrape by 2 or 3 rounds when they were on 5 points. And that's just the sad part. I mean, ILLUMINAR had such a good performance, but Hard Legion, just off of the bat of those 5 initial rounds, they can get themselves in such a good place.
Oh,
now,
God.
Forrester.
That's rough. That's very, very rough. As Innocent goes down very early, bomb is planted. This has to be the save. This has to be the save. You've got full Kevlar across the board. There's no way you're winning this. I think they realize that, as they are going to be moving back and letting things calm down a bit. The question is, what's a loss bonus? That's what I'm kind of curious about, because we did disconnect for a bit in between, so I'm not 100% sure. Now, if their loss bonus is... Actually, it doesn't matter. They can't get an op. I thought maybe if it's max loss bonus, Mouse can get an op, but even then, he doesn't have enough money. He's short by 1 Deagle kill.
Yeah, they gave the AWP to Mouse for a bit, and then they were like, "All right, Snacks, so you get another crack at it." And
He
he's
didn't
like,
do anything with it at all.
Yeah, and it was so
Like
unfortunate too. The one time he played it a bit passive, he played an
Yeah.
angle where he could actually get out of it. Kenki just comes around and he's like, "You know what? I have something to say about it."
And
2
the funny thing
headshots.
is, Snacks is still having a really good game. Like, in the sense, he's still 10-9, despite the fact that we saw 2 rounds in a row where he just died immediately. Because he got a kill every single time he died. That time he didn't get the 1 kill he always did. That's the difference. And, that is going to be the difference between what could have been a 9-6 in their favor and now a 9-6 in Hard Legion's favor. But we're not done yet. I don't want to count any chickens before they die.
Oh,
That's not the Counter-Strike way. Let's see, though. What are we cooking tonight?
Speaking of cooking, I think they're cooking up a broth on long. They've got 4 players already. 1 player lagging behind, just chilling. Hasn't really regrouped with the rest of the teammates yet, but I think he's going for a connector play because he's trying to potentially catch out the rotations coming in from B short. And that would be a good call because there is Snacks lurking around the shadows in connector. Other than that, I think Hard Legion are in a pretty good spot because of the fact that ILLUMINAR's attention is mostly towards B. They just have 1 player in the form of Innocent creeping up near Optimus. Well, more towards... what do you call this place again? I hate this angle.
Oh, actually, we'll talk about that later. Forrester, he's taking down Snacks, and I think that has to be the call for full rotation to come through. Innocent is the man who's been able to keep a lock and key on the A side in the past. He was the one who got them their first round on the board. Can he get them the last round of the half? That's the big question that we're setting up for. Kinky's taking down Veggie. Innocent still lurking in the smoke. Grad He'll do what he can, but he's just nestling away. He doesn't want to get aggressive. He wants to let the CTs to come to him. And in a 3 versus 5, the CTs are being mollied off. They're being brought down. Riats can find one, but that's really emotional solace and not too much more. The second kill is nice as well, but it leaves Mouse in a 1v3 as Forrester was quick to come in from behind. Mouse, all right.
Was he on top of him there?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he was on top of his head, and it wasn't very obvious because of the smoke. But yeah, 9-6 anyway in the favor of Hard Legion. For a second there, we thought that Illuminar might be capitalizing on the positional advantage and the general advantage that comes from the CT side. But as soon as Hard Legion started picking up the rounds again, all started pretty much crumbling apart for Illuminar. Still being able to put 6 rounds on the board when you're down 5-0. And Hard Legion is doing so well economically, just getting those shots in. I think they can still be commended for that, but commendations is not what they need right now. They need rounds.
They really want to close us out in a 2-0. Illumina, they have to win this pistol round. Hard Legion, though, they drive a very hard bargain when it comes to pistol rounds. You're going to be looking at Krad and Forrester to just come alive, get those USB headshots. On the CT side, no less, it's very difficult to get past them. Rage, he doesn't want to be left behind, so he tries to get aggressive first, gets the information that no one's crossed over immediately. So you can see already off the back of that, they're looking to rotate a few players backwards. So Rage is just playing the rotation position, which could still be great because his angle lets him peer right down alley in towards connector. And he will, I think, be able to see anyone who's just creeping out. Now, Snacks, he gets fortunate because Rage has moved off that angle and Rage is now moving back. But the question is, where does Illumina want to go? Snacks doing what he can to try and find information, but the CTs are playing very passively and are not giving anything away. He heard that, though. He heard that. That's very important. He was able to hear the audio cue of the jumping player who was checking for the spot, so now Snacks can try and pre-fire that. Keep an eye on Sviat, though. He might not be located inside the smoke. Forrester's found one. They're not going to know where Sviat is. He's coming in from the side. Rage will be the one to take down Innocent, but it is just a bloodbath. Sviat finally comes out of the shadows, takes down Veggie. Snacks and Mouse left in a 2 versus 4. And they are very quickly mitigated. I remember saying something on the lines of Hard Legion are good with USBs, and I will stick to my guns as they will stick to their pistols.
I think the one thing that pretty much granted them insurance in this regard is the fact that Sviat was always lurking in the smoke. So even if they started dropping the ball there a little bit, Sviat should have been there to pick up the pieces. So as soon as Sviat got in the smoke and they got a couple kills, I think that was pretty much the deal being sealed for Illuminar, that there was no way out of it. So very nice stuff coming out from Hard Legion. Definitely not the same kind of dominance that we saw from Illuminar on Vertigo. But again, I think Vertigo is one of those maps that you can really heavily focus on strategy on and really make the enemy team feel suffocated, especially because a lot of teams don't focus on that map as much. Just not the same case can be made for Overpass, which has been around for a very long time. So still good stuff from Hard Legion, but Illuminar now on the AK-47 in the hands of Reeds. Mao's sacrificed a lot of his money to be able to fetch the coins from his purse for that, and it is going to pay off as Reeds gets the opening kill, but for what? Because Kenki is able to respond with 3 kills. Veggie salvages the AK and is only able to get 1 kill with that, so doesn't really work out for them.
On the bright side,
Economy damage. Whoa.
No, on the right side, Illumina have a buy in the next round. What they went for, instead of just trying to bank on the first round force buy, they're going for the more straightforward full gun round. So they do have potential of resetting CT economy if they win this round. CTs have been very heavily focused on getting M4s. You saw that even though Kinky gets a couple of kills in the previous round, it's not like it's an MP9 kill. It's not like he's getting $600 a pop. So CT economy being reset is still very much a distinct possibility. So if Illuminar can do that, you're still looking at potentially an 11-9, maybe even an 11-10 to come in. This is the big round. This is the round which seals the fate of this entire map, it seems like. Yes, they'll still have chances later, but none of them will be like this. It'll be an uphill battle, which has then been paved with fire and brimstone. The question is, can they get past over here? Snacks is lurking around very close to the entrance. He's not going to be caught by that nade. It barely does any damage. I think it does bring him into one-shot territory from the M4A4, but I'm not 100% sure about that. That nade definitely does, though. And Krad doesn't care about one shot. He just takes down Veg. Max now needs to make a move, and he will do so straight into Forrester's bullets. Innocent can respawn, can get the bomb plant, but with 40 seconds left on the clock and Krad coming behind, this will be difficult because Krad should have gotten that kill. But Mouse will finish him off and picks up the AK while doing so. Firepower upgrades are always welcome, but do they realize that this is a player coming in from behind? Kinky, ready, waiting for the peek, which will never come. CTs might be forced to save, but Innocent peeks out. Beautiful stuff. Rage and company will be next to fall. Sviat is alive for a little while before Rage is left alone. He has no chance of winning this round practically. Molly's at divider, flashes off the entrance of toilets, but he knows he has to run away. He knows he has to try and save this AK, and the CTs are not going to be able to do so. This gun will not be enough. And like I said before, this was the big round for Illuminar to get, and they do so perfectly.
Even though we heavily favored Hard Legion, I think Illuminar do have the opportunity of snowballing on the basis of economy, and they already have 7 rounds. I mean, even though 4 rounds looks like a pretty big gap, I mean, Hard Legion's on double digits, Illuminar isn't, but this gap can be very easily closed if just a couple duels, just a play here, a play there, it goes wrong for Hard Legion because the economy will just straight up start crumbling down. And on the other hand, Illuminar, all they need to do is just make sure that they're getting those kills consistently and putting around here and there on the board. Because even if they're getting some damage done to Hard Legion, even lost rounds can be, even 1 rounds on the side of Hard Legion can be, can be too bad. There can be points where they win a round and it's still not enough, simply on the basis of not having the money.
I'm interested to see how Illuminar is set up here. It's very important that they don't lose their guns. Let's see. Kind of curious to see them not going for a few Mac 10s on their players, though. That is very surprising. I know Hard Legion's a team that likes to force buy, but I would have put it on them that they would force buy in that particular round. It seems very strange to me unless they're banking on the force buy.
Oh, you mean MP9s?
Around the AK? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, for a second there I thought, wait, why would he want Illuminar to be buying Mac 10s? I mean, they can comfortably buy the AKs.
No, I wanted Illuminar to be buying the Mac 10s so that they can get more money.
Okay. For a second there, because then you said Hard Legion. Oh.
No, then I said Hard Legion's not going to be buying in general with the way the economy is.
Okay, fair enough.
It's okay. I was lost in thought. Maybe it didn't come across clearly. It's either that or you're really bad at listening to me, which I've played enough Face It with you to know which one is the case. Yep. Now,
sorry, it's really difficult to hear someone from the bottom of the scoreboard, but yeah, I'm gonna let you continue.
Well, I can hear all these players screaming out right now, regardless of whether they're at the bottom of the scoreboard or not, because they're being dinked down by USPs. Riyadh has 2 kills very quickly. He's got a player coming in right in front of him. That is Rage with his saved AK. Krad as well, maybe even saving the day a little bit. The question is, can they recover the AK? It doesn't seem it's possible because Snacks is coming in from bathrooms. Now, he can push through the smoke, he can find them, and they're probably expecting that. But more than anything else, Krad would desperately like to be able to take the AK back into the next round. Kid as well, but none of that will be possible. Illuminar, to get away to safety, Hard Legion will now have another round where they're not going to be able to buy properly, but maybe they can a little bit. Let's see.
Illuminar, they're slowly but surely making their way back up on the scoreboard. Uh, and if I'm Hard Legion right now, I want Rage to get that op, and that's exactly what they do. We saw in the
Oh
previous
god.
map that Rage was playing so much better with the AWP. And
How are
well,
you? I'm sorry, but I'm so glad you're not a captain of a team. Like,
wait,
I'm so
did they
glad.
not have money on Forrester and Kinky? Oh, for a second there, I thought that they might have had money all across the board, but
Oh,
Rage is the only one that gets the AWP. Okay, that brings it into question. My bad.
yeah.
Well, I'm not a captain. Don't look at me.
Well, listen, one thing that I will say is, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, there's an argument to be made for the CT side that this is the correct decision, and that argument is saying that he will be able to save. In that regard, you give him the chance to be a hero, you give him the chance to save the round on his own, but you tell him that if at any moment you feel like you can't do that, you have to save the op. Unfortunately, that's not what his positioning says. That's not what the positioning of the CTs say. I want to see a stack behind that op. I want to see one Deagle go to B. Everyone else just sits behind that op, says, okay, if you die, we're picking it up, and we're either running or we're fighting right back. But unfortunately, that's not the case for now. It could end up changing later on, as we do see Rage now moving over towards what looks like to be the B site. Snacks, however, I think he's already in A. So Crad, you will hear this rotation coming through. Rage will be very respectful about his positioning. Snacks has already taken him down. That's what Snacks, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Say what you want about Eco Frank. Say what you want about anything.
That was essential.
Yeah, he was huge. And not to take anything away from Forrester, those are some pretty nutty shots.
I think dropping that op there, that pretty much changed the landscape of the game. I mean, I don't think Rage is going to be able to afford an op for a long time unless one of his teammates drops it. And even if they do, they have to sacrifice a bunch of utility. So what I'm expecting right now, yep, yeah, going for the AWP. Pretty expected play here because they want to drop it to Rage. But look at the cost that they have to bear because of it. They don't have that much utility to work with. Sviat on the Famas. Rage, obviously, not a single flashbang, not a single smoke. So yeah, I'm gonna concur with that point that you made. Rage's position just wasn't correct to be able to comfortably save the AWP because he didn't have any. And pretty much, he didn't have any pin cushions to be protecting him towards toilets or any informational place for him to be safer. And now, Rage going for a bit of aggression here. Doesn't really come out on top of it. He has to back off.
In all fairness, we do have to say, this is a respectable buy. It's not great, but you wouldn't say, oh yeah, the CT side shouldn't be winning this one because of their buy and because of their lack of utility. They do have decent utility on 4 players, so the problem is, they also have Innocent to deal with, who's just crept through. Kinky does get the return kill, but the kill onto the Heaven Prayer is huge because Kinky's always going to be isolated. He can't move back to safety at all. The best case scenario for him is if there's no one on short and he can move back to Graffiti, but he won't know that. Snacks finds another kill through the smoke, but Kinky's got a perfect off angle. Veggie's also been dinked, so this 2v2 gets a lot trickier. Mouse will get the bomb plot down. Flashbang coming in, almost blinds Forrester, but it does take down Mouse. Veggie, it's your game, it's your ball, it's your move, but it's not going to be an easy one, regardless of what you choose to do. I love this angle that he's holding. I love how he's playing, but Forrester and Crad, they've read this book, they've seen this play, they've done everything they can against it, and they'll even be able to go back and recover the AWP if I'm not wrong, and indeed they are. So, great round from Hard Legion to clean that up. That all came down simply to Kingsley.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that they won that round because of like, of course, other people can play it in a different way, but I mean, the way I would play this is that if we don't have that much utility, you generally want some more information or you want to have some pushes happening so that you can get the advantage because that is one tool that you can use in lieu of utility to be able to minimize that disadvantage. But based off of the off angle from Kinky, they're able to bring it to a situation where it can be salvaged, and they were able to win it, so more power to them. Now, Illuminar still haven't made it to double digits. Ooh. Like this position from Rage. Could be a battle of the ops here if Snacks goes around the corner. But I think he's just waiting for the push here.
This is... I mean, we all know this is the round. This is the round you have to win. Rage. It's about time for him to step up and start doing some of the dirty work. See him peeking out. Riats is down. Beautiful stuff from him. That's exactly what you wanted. Smokes himself off and backs off as well. The CTs then proceed to smoke off the other entrance toilet, so he can actually have a lot of space to navigate around and back off. Now, though, the question is, how do ILLUMINAR react? They're shaping up for a full B take. All 4 players are collected around Monster. And as the smoke does dissipate, the flashbang goes in. They do have themselves a chance to get 2 innocent with the perfect entries to seal the deal for this round. They have to have a hero play, and maybe Sviat can put his cape on. But Veggie's getting prepared. He's coming from the side. He's got the kill. Rage is in a 1v2. I said he had to step up, but not like this. He needs a 4K and the 1v3 completion to be able to come out on top. Mouse is down, and Snacks is in a lonely situation with 4 seconds on the clock and no HP. And Rage has done it! 13 rounds for Hard Legion. The clock was against them, and you could see the desperation. You could see Rage, and you can see him now. He's spinning around, doing the helicopter, reminding everyone why he gets to have an op when no one else has a buy.
Oh, that was... For ILLUMINAR to be losing that round on top of the entries that they were able to get from the back of Innocent's play, that is something to be said. I mean, you can see that right there in the replay. The perfect flashbang by Mouse, but still getting clutched on by Rage. The AWP prowess truly shining. And the foresight to be switching to the AK-47 because he knows Snacks is low and catching him in the off angle. Wonderful stuff. And that puts ILLUMINAR in a pretty tough spot. I don't think they have that much money to work with anymore. I mean, Veggie, he's going to be knocked down to a Galil. Innocent, pretty sure he gets onto a Galil as well. Unless he decides to buy as much utility as possible. But I don't think that would be the right call to make here on the T side. Oh, he does go for the Deagle and full utility. Well, we'll see how that works out. I'm interested in seeing that, to be honest. The pressure is still on, though, for Hard Legion.
Yeah. To some extent, but, you know, they have given themselves some breathing. Problem is, the noose is there. And I mean by that, the noose of the fact that they don't have money on anyone. 1v1s do not win you series. Unless they're at the very end. Riats comes in with 2 kills. That's what I was worried about. You know, you just see these explosive entries, and sure, they are getting out the retakes. Sure, Kinky's alive, and sure, Kinky's been great. But this is not a round they're likely to win. So, Hard Legion, you see them now stuck in the decision, do we save or not? And now there's not even a decision. Rage is left alone. The second he gets spotted over here, when he gets that kill, that triggers it. ILLUMINAR smell blood in the water. They start to rotate away. They start to come towards him. They will have to hunt him down. They know that they can lose all of their weapons and they're fine. They're the T side. You can't say the same about this op.
Yeah, that's something that I was mentioning earlier in the series. When you're on the CT side, even if you're getting those clutches, just dropping your weapons, even a win is not going to be enough because your money is completely obliterated. If you're winning this 1v3, 1 versus 4, sure, you can feel very good about it. You can get another round on the board, but what does that say about the subsequent rounds? So not only is the pressure on for the CTs to win the rounds, it's also to win them with enough of a margin in terms of money, in terms of not dropping your weaponry, to be able to carry that lead into the subsequent rounds, because a round lead isn't necessarily a lead on the macro level.
I mean, it helps.
It helps, but it doesn't necessarily mean it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just making sure, you know. I'm worried. I really am. This buy could be goodbye. And by that, I don't mean that it is a good buy. That was great.
I don't know. I've set very high standards for you. I mean, you can expect that from me, but...
Crad comes in. Great shot from him with his easy. Very good way to start things off, because not only does he get the kill, he gets information on 2 of those players as well. So with that, you can see already Rage is going to be feeling much more confident in bearing down. The question is he going to be having a flashbang flying through to help him out? And the answer is no. He's dry peeking the angle. He's clearing it out manually, which is very strange. But I suppose he's just relying on the idea that Hardly should have backed off. And, well, Hardly, they're never backing off. And Rage will just get a no-scope onto Snack. That might have been the round right there when Sviat comes in and leaves Reitz in a 1 versus 3. Riyadz is able to get the refrag, but with 15 seconds on the clock and a flashback moving in, Riyadz needs to find the player in water, and that's Forrester, who will come out on top. Rage has saved the CT side. Rage has saved Hard Legion to 20 kills and 10 deaths. And it's not even that. The amount of rounds he's gotten these guys out of where they should just have no business in them is absurd.
Yeah, I mean, that one was off of a no-scope. I mean, come on. For ILLUMINAR, obviously, this is looking pretty grim, but Rage being able to pull all of these tricks out, that is just insane. I mean, this series would be over right now if Rage wasn't able to pull off so many of these individual plays. And this is a point that we kept driving home. Even from the start of Vertigo, we kept saying that, okay, Rage is in the pivotal position. He's in the captain's chair. He needs to get something done. And that's exactly what he's doing. He knows that his team is going to go down unless he pulls out these fancy plays. Well, not fancy, but very important plays. Even if they do happen to have a bit of fanciness sprinkled in here and there. But yeah. 14-10, Hard Legion just 2 rounds away from putting their first map in the series and trying to take it to a 3rd map. ILLUMINAR have to work their way back up.
They do still have decent weaponry. That is one thing going on. They do still have a chance of multiple entries, and oh my god, that is multiple entries, but not quite the way you wanted it to happen. Innocent takes down Veggie, who is innocent in this case. So, lots of wordplay to be made, none of it very good. Rage is looking to find some more fortune inside Connector. Crad is trying to get some good old wallbangs in the meanwhile, but the Molotov comes out. 1:15 on the clock. Not very much utility left on this B side, so when ILLUMINAR comes in, this could be big. ILLUMINAR, however, really don't have much to work with either, so you're waiting to see where the flashback will be coming from. Sviat is not landing the shots, but Snacks will. Innocent as well comes in big. Crad and Rage are even bigger, though, to turn it into a 2v2. Rage is coming in from short. They know they need to eliminate Crad before he gets here, but Crad is more than capable of self-defense. Rage finishes off the last man, as he will get the last laugh along with Hard Legion yet again. 15-10, and Hard Legion, that might just be the sound of the door closing on ILLUMINAR's face in this map.
Yeah, I think Rage and Crad, they've pretty much been saving Hard Legion time and time again. I mean, for a second there, that was 4 versus 2, immediately being brought down to a 2v2 and being closed out by Hard Legion. So solid individual stuff, but the question is, how long is this going to last, and will it be enough to make it happen in the 3rd map if it does come to that? Now, ILLUMINAR, they've had to pretty much buy up as much as they can because it is the last round if they do end up losing it. Crad going for a pretty aggressive play towards Playground. He hears the connector. He gets Snacks, turns around, not able to connect the shots onto Veggie. The Deagle will be there to put a nail in his coffin. And a 50 caliber bullet into his head. 4-on-4, ILLUMINAR making their way towards short and scoreless. Rage has a massive job to do, but he gets obliterated by the Deagle. And this could just be the key to the metaphorical door that was just closed in on their face. And Mouse has more. Oh my god. Kinky.
Can I get Usher on the phone? Because I just need someone to say, oh my god, like 17 times in a sensual manner, because that's exactly what just happened in that round. say, oh my, one dig.
Oh
Baby,
my.
let me, one dig. She did it again, so one dig.
That was just insane individual plays off of Mouse. I mean, he hasn't really been stepping up in the rest of the game, but those those Wondies, man, they're very crispy, very nice and spicy. Just have that sting to them.
Baby, let's. Those were insane. I mean, there's nothing to say about it when that happens. Hard lesion. I pat you on the back, and I'll say, it's okay. Life gets better. You had your own times as well. Rage had some no-scopes. So listen, you can't blame him for that. At least there's very little luck involved in the 1Ds. The no-scopes, realistically, there is a little bit of RNG, even if when you're that close, it's not quite the same. So, yeah.
And the
Hard
no-scope was
lesion,
from
however,
pretty far away.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. Well, listen, Hard Legion are pretty close to the finish line, but that last step will be the hardest for them because Illumina, remember that all of these rounds have been Hard Legion's wins, so they don't have a loss bonus. So when you're force buying here, and if you don't win this one, you're giving away the next 2 rounds practically for free. So if Illuminar win this, you're looking at what should be a 15-14 economically. Obviously, economics isn't how the world works all the time, but we'll have to wait to see, because Forrester over here, he doesn't want to let it come to that. He doesn't want to give this up, neither does Fiat. Both of them chiming in, digs of their own. Fiat takes it home. Forrester finishes it off, and we were painting a dire picture, but the artists of doom are Hard Legion. Illumina are forced against the wall. They might have won Vertigo, but this was a completely different series. They had their moments, they had their hope, but Hard Legion had their plans.
Didn't this happen earlier as well, where Illuminar was finally making it back? I feel like this has happened before. I'm not 100% sure where they got decimated by Deagles. I mean, they're just not catching a break, man. That was... I mean, we were out here projecting the potential of having of having a 15-14, but well, just didn't come to that.
Well, like many of us in the Counter-Strike scene, potential doesn't always turn to much, as they find out the hard way. As we found out the hard way. Illumina, however, are not kicked out of the tournament just quite yet, and neither are Hard Legion. If you can see the score down there, and
You're not
I got the point right.
There we
I
go.
got the point right. It's okay. I got the point right. I knew it. I'm a pro at this point. But down there, it is a 1-for-1, and the last map is going to be Train. So make sure you're tuning in for that. We'll be back in just a bit. It should be spicy. Fish? Okay. Welcome back to game number 3. It's going to be a fantastic one. We've got ourselves Illuminar on one hand, Hard Legion on the other, and a clapping game altogether. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. The first 2 series, very back and forth. Overpass in particular, it's a 16-11, but it was a bit of a heartbreaking finish for Illuminar Waldadi. It looked like they had a chance of sneaking back into it.
Yeah, Illuminar, especially because of this is something that we've already mentioned, but especially because of all the money advantage that they could get off of that one round that they had to win. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for them. I mean, such a heartbreaking loss to be losing to Desert Eagles when you're finally like, okay, we might have a ride all the way to the finish line. Just they had the opportunity of making it to 14, but it just didn't work out.
I'm sorry, who the hell calls them Desert Eagles? Oh, yes. Caw! We are losing to the desert. That's what an eagle sounds like. I don't know. Anyway, we're losing.
Who the hell says caw when they're talking about eagles?
I don't know what an eagle sounds like, and I don't know. You're the
It
bird
sounds
guy,
like freedom, okay? Just know that.
That's a bald eagle. It's a very specific eagle that you're looking towards. The peregrine falcon just sounds like whoosh, though. It's very fast that way. But you know what else is fast? How fast we're going to get to the playoffs, because we're having some fantastic games. And I know what you guys are wondering. Hey, the playoffs, that means they're winning something. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I know what you're thinking, because I know Waldadi doesn't know this either. You're thinking, hey, they're going to be winning themselves some money, and that's great stuff. That's fine. No, that's not the big deal. The big deal is, sure, the money's great. Obviously, I'm not saying no to that. But every team that wins a week of Malta vibes gets a week's boot camp in Malta to be used whenever they want throughout the year. That is insane. That's so cool. Especially because for a lot of these teams, like Hard Legion, like Illuminar and whatnot, they're not getting a chance to boot camp as often, man. I mean, it is difficult, especially if you're a mixed team like X Smash. They don't have an organization behind them, something like that. Boot camping in a different region, and if it looks that goddamn beautiful, look at that. The Baraka Gardens, you get the boot camp there. I mean, maybe not the best for your Counter-Strike, but I'm going to be feeling pretty good about that if I was there.
Wait, I'm still caught up on the fact. Wait, people get paid to play this game? Why am I casting? Oh wait, never mind. That's because I'm double AK. I'm sorry, I forgot about that part.
See, the sad thing is, it's actually true.
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's insane though. The boot camps are really cool, and actually, this hasn't been a thing as much this year because unfortunately Corona and everything going on. But if I remember correctly, HLTV had something very interesting as well. But before that, we've got some other very interesting things to go into, and those are the commercials. And I know I'm talking a lot about Malta, but take a look at how beautiful this place is. Take a look at how beautiful.
Wow, look at how beautiful Malta is.
I'm breath. I don't know, man. Looking at those scenes just unfold in front of you, it really makes you wish you were better at Counter-Strike.
So he could eventually get the boot camp. But I mean, listen,
Yeah.
we all got to start somewhere. Where Tea Time and I are starting is in the bottom bucket tiers of Face It level 1 and
See,
double
I thought you
AK.
were going to give us a very, very good transition through, but you didn't. You failed it. But we've all got to start somewhere, and that somewhere is a knife friend as we get straight into it. Illuminar versus Hard Legion, map number 3, and that's how it started. You can continue. You can actually talk after that, by the way. It's okay. I know I stood you up a little bit.
Yeah, I was just so disappointed in that. I'm just so upset at you right now that I don't think I'm going to continue this cast. All right, goodbye. No, well, knife round is over. And as far as I know, yeah, the names and everything have been set accordingly. All right, there we go. Wait, no, I think the names have still been switched
Look,
around.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. The point is, the important thing is, we have ourselves map number 3. We have ourselves Vertigo, where Illuminar looked like they did just crush Hard Legion, and Hard Legion didn't know what the hell they're doing. And then we came to Overpass, where for a long time the reverse was true. Now, however, it's all about this third map. All your sins will be erased. All your grievances forgotten. This third map is the decider. The loser of this is eliminated, sent away to the next week if they will be invited. If they won't be invited, who knows? The winner of this goes on to the finals to see whether they can make it to the playoffs. The question is, who is going to come through?
Pretty slow start. Doesn't seem like Hard Legion is committing to anything just yet. They do have 4 sets of Kevlar, so it does seem like they're mostly going to be focused on the aim duels now. Innocent taking a couple aim duels here already takes down Forrester, but he's been brought down to 4 HP himself as well.
This should be a pretty big deal. Oh, Kinky and Crad, the 2Ks come through big 3v3 because of them. Snacks, however, is always good with that USP. We saw him looking great, but Mouse is doing one better. Crad is left to fight off, and he is fighting very, very strongly. The question is he going to find these two players who are going for the double peaks very quickly onto him? He saw the shadow. He's been distracted by it. These players are dancing around, and the winner of it will be Mouse. Comes through and takes it away. 2 kills on him. Very important ones as well. So, some great stuff from Illuminar. Winning out the pistol round. Very important for them.
Yeah, I think Illuminar needs to make the most of the CT side, especially because of how dangerous this is going to get. I mean, Hard Legion, on paper, they do seem like a better team, and they've already gotten the second map. The good thing for Illuminar is that even though like most people would say that, oh, this might potentially be a 2-0, they've dragged it out to the third map, and now it's just a matter of getting this one map. They've already made a strong point for themselves by getting the first round, and let's just see if they can continue this lead further on. Hard Legion, though, they have something to say about it because they have force bot up with Crad on the scout rifle. Waiting for a potential push here. Is Fiat going to be able to catch him? I think he's trying to bait out the shot there.
I mean, Fiat got the information, but the Tech 9 is not the easiest weapon. God, man, like, come on. What kind of whack-a-mole is this? You're not even waiting for them all to come through. You're just hoping that somehow you get it through the machine.
Wait, that's not a valid tactic? Oh, that's why I got kicked out.
Honest.
That's why I got kicked out, because I massacred the machines at the arcade. Speaking of massacres, though, no massacres happening just yet for Hard Legion because it's a pretty slow round with only 45 seconds on the clock. The terrorists are split up all across the board, 2 in main, 2 in Ivy, and 1 could potentially come down Pop Dog, which will be a very difficult prospect for the CTs to deal with. Now, Veggie with 2 quick MP9 kills. Rage tries to respond, is only able to pick up 1 kill so far. There's 29 seconds on the clock. The bomb is not close to the bomb site at all. It's going to be a very difficult plant here. Oh.
Crad and Rage finding these kills is huge, though, but Snacks will shut it down. Rage, who does pick up the bomb. Actually, no. Does he? Make M4. All right, that's much more important than the bomb over here because it gives them a significantly better chance. Now, 1v1.
There just wasn't enough time.
Yeah. I quite like that, though, to be perfectly honest. The amount of damage he's able to get done over there and the fact that he saved the M4. I wouldn't even mind seeing them force buy.
Yeah, especially that now that they have the information that the
Yeah.
CTs are so heavily damaged. I mean, look at that buy. They've even if they exhaust all of their money, they're only able to really have FAMASs and a bit of utility and a couple M4s. Innocent and Mouse, in fact, they're sticking to the MP9s, but this is a good play for them to save some money on snacks so they're not entirely bankrupt when the time comes. Now, Kinky's already made his way halfway into the bomb site. Reeds gets Forrester, and Kinky's position is going to be pivotal as he takes one, he takes two, and Crad follows it up. Kinky has already gotten 3, actually. Now, Rage. Oh my, how have things fallen apart entirely for Illuminar off of the back of Kinky, making his way through the enemy lines, maneuvering around the trains, getting them one by one, a shark in the waters, and Mao's left alone, just one little fish. Hard Legion, they have the bomb down. This is looking next to impossible for Mao's.
I believe he's got the MP9. He's got the weapon. The only weapon that is... Never mind. That is dropped onto the ground. For the M4A4. And Crad, you know what, he'll even recover the M4. See, that's where Mouse went wrong. That's where Mouse went wrong. And I want to quickly give a shout out to Maui Snake because we were talking and his theory of the CT side is that the reason why the MP9 is so broken is because it is the only thing that exists to offset the T side economical advantage. Which I thought is a pretty convincing case. So I don't mind the MP9 being that broken when you consider that. In fact, I would go ahead and say, you know what, probably buff the Mag 7 too while you're at it. Add a bit more damage per pellet. You can see something potentially evening out the CT economy without having to change too much of the economical conversation. That is one thing that I've always been a little bit curious about how it would affect the metagame. I remember when the UMP was buffed, the armor penetration was increased, but that was just insane. CT side became so strong with that. So I wouldn't mind seeing something like that, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even now, Illuminar, they're just absolutely strapped for cash. Max is the only one that has... Oh, okay. Baggy from right under Forrester shoots him in the foot. The bullet is driven to his head, and that's another one. Crad through the wall. The Eagles looking so strong right now. Kinky is able to shut down Veggie, though, so that there's going to be no more holes in the fate of the Terran side coming out from Veggie. Other than that, though, Hard Legion still have a case to make for themselves, and Illuminar having picked up this AK-47, Mouse makes it so much more difficult for Hard Legion to weasel back into the round, despite all of the damage that was just done on short ladder. CTs definitely do have the advantage here. Only 25 seconds on the clock. They have to worry about the bomb train. They have to worry about short ladder. So just too little information that they can work off of.
Hard Legion do find the opening kill. That's very important. Snacks being as low as he is, means that he is going to be a casualty that is inevitable unless Innocent can keep doing what he's doing right now. Both of these other two players are far too weak. Kinky's got a great position. They might not be expecting it, but now he's revealed himself. Now he's been forced to put the back of 6. He does spray down Snacks, pulls out the Tech 9. The bomb was being defused, and he knew he had to take the deal with Riyadh, who, despite having only 6 HP, does come out on top. So, bomb diffuses there. Illumina finds a 3rd round, and all of that comes off the back of Veggie finding 2 beautiful shots inside Pop Dog. Quickly takes him down, and one thing that I don't know if you noticed or not, but Veggie was actually massively assisted by the fact that his teammate was coming in from behind. So one thing that he had to do was keep making noise while he was underneath the ladder in Pop Dog. So because he's just firing away with the Deagles and they're trying to fire back, they can't hear his teammate coming up. So Veggie knew that's a win-win situation regardless, even if he doesn't land those shots. So that's really nice to see. Wow. That's a really cool drop from Sviat.
Yeah, that was super quick.
Yeah. I mean, nice flashbang. That's one to take home.
I mean, knowing you, you're probably gonna write it
I'm
down.
talking about you.
No, you're gonna write it down, and then I'm gonna steal it from you. You think I'm gonna take the effort to look at it myself? Just not happening. Looking at Hard Legion, though, they seem to be making a play towards B. Pretty much huddled towards inner. Not a single player in a different position. Just flashbang out. Snax is able to land the shot despite the fact that he's flashed. Rage takes him down immediately. The Battle of the Offers is won by Rage. Mouse, though, he's following it up insanely with a 3K. Forrester gets 2, but he has a lot more work to do. Doesn't have the bomb just yet, so he's gonna have to risk some information before he can even start to think about planting the bomb. Now Forrester, with just an AK and a couple flashbangs in his hands, oh, has he spotted the player? Oh my god, I think that's the effect of the 4x3 resolution. For a second there, he saw Veggie. I mean, we saw Veggie, but he wasn't able to pick up that information, so he's gonna get fragged immediately. And Illuminar looking so strong in the beginning of their CT side and Inferno, but just look at that, man. Mouse completely changed the landscape of that round for the CT side.
I thought Snax had lost that with his repeat. But Mouse just comes through, finds those 3 kills, which should never have been possible, realistically. But
yeah,
the way he's able to line them up perfectly and even catches the one in the back lines through the wall, that's huge. Mouse, this is why, if you're ever wondering, if you're doing spray practice and saying, oh, hey, I'm getting the first 10, 15 bullets down, I can kill someone, who cares after that? That's why you should care, especially with the M4A4. That's one of the easiest spray patterns in the game to get to 20 bullets on, but after that, it gets really tough. And the players who can connect ravage angles like that. Magis comes to mind in Monster and Overpass. That's one of the other angles. Over here in low way train, sometimes even towards T-Con if you're positioned correctly. It is huge, and that's why you see it over there. Riats, though, has found out that it's not always the M4, right? Sometimes it's also Crad spraying through with the Deagle. That can be quite deadly.
Veggie, though, he's already made a case for his side. Gotten 2 kills already. But what can they even do with barely any weaponry to work with? I mean, Innocent putting a bullet in Krad's head. Veggie takes down Spiat. It's just Rage left alone. What is he going to be able to do with this measly Zeus? Is he going to be able to get that? That's nothing to work with. His bare knuckles versus his bear's muscles. Not going to work out, Mouse. Oh, man, for a second there, that actually looked a little bit dangerous. Just running at him with the Zeus.
Yeah. Look at this, though, man. That is ridiculous. That's just one of those. All right, okay. You're just better than me moments. You know, not overall, but just that very moment when you get peaked like that. There's 2 reactions. Either you're just better than me, or what is that peak? Why is he doing that? Or both.
Or both. Definitely just both.
Yeah.
Illuminar, though, man, they're putting up such a good fight on the CT side. Part of that comes down to a bit of the individual plays that we've been seeing, like, for example, that lineup by Mouse. So a bit of a tough call for Hard Legion here. I mean, they're not really catching a break. But if Illuminar can start just daisy chaining these rounds together, that's great for them. The problem, though, is always going to be the threat from the money. We have to mention this time and time again. As soon as Illuminar drop a round or drop 2 consecutive rounds, that's the point where Hard Legion can go like, all right, this is where we can start snowballing as the terrorist side. So that's something they have to worry about.
And it's so hard not to just let your economy dwindle when you've got fraggers like Kinky, Forrester, and Grad in front of you, because no matter what's happening, you're going to lose players. It's very difficult not to. What I do like is Veggie's positioning, though. This gives him all the information in the world, but he will not be able to make 1 kill from it. Sviat and Forrester both able to equalize back to a 3v3. The problem is going to be the player side sandwich. An Innocent who swings out for 2. Kinky responds, but he's left alone, and alone he could be the savior. 15 seconds, not much time left to work with. There's a player coming in from bottom. He could be the difference maker, and indeed he is. Mouse finishes the job. Kinky is down. Kinky is out. The 6th round on the board for ILLUMINAR, but like we said before, you're not getting away scratch-free. Not against these players. It's just not going to happen.
Dude, look at that play from Innocent, man. I mean, I was hoping that's the replay we would catch, and that exactly is. I mean, he goes for those 2 quick taps, turns around, gets the 180, and this just makes a case for the argument I made earlier. I mean, they're getting a lot of these rounds based off of the individual plays that are coming through, and if that's how they're getting their oh, I'm sorry, Snacks, you just cut me off there by wallbanging him. But yeah, if that's how they're getting their plays, whatever, right? As long as they can put their rounds on the board.
I mean, you know, you cry about money all you want. The 6th one's a pretty good scoreline. 7 one's even better, and I feel like that's exactly where they're about to end up. What is that? Remember how I said it's very hard to find rounds where you're not going to lose players? I think they're just round around.
Yeah, I think ILLUMINAR should be feeling pretty comfortable, despite the fact that they don't have that much money to work with. At this point, even if they can scrape together 2 or 3 rounds, they have a good, comfortable CP side. Now, the problem that I'm seeing here is that generally, if you say that a team is better on paper, like let's say Hard Legion has generally better statistics than ILLUMINAR, you would be expecting a lot of these plays to be showing up on the terrorist side. Sure, the CT side also involves a lot of strategy, but you can really see the better team's strategy come to light when they're on the T side, and we really haven't been seeing Hard Legion make a case for that.
I like Rage's positioning, but he moves off the angle and will not catch the timing. Riyadh, however, is very good with it. He knows exactly where Rage is as well. The question is, can he? Or does he dare to? He dares to, but he just can't get anything done when Rage is going off like this. 2 kills for him right now. Innocent is trying to fire back, trying to fight back with the M4A1. But they need utility, and it's not going to be coming through anytime soon. Mouse is left alone. And this is looking near impossible. Mouse takes down 1, at the very least. It's a good start. And a nade to follow in. Is that going on to Rage? Not yet. Mouse will go down. And there you have it. Hard Legion can come through and finish.
ILLUMINAR still does have the opportunity to stop this attempt at a comeback right in its tracks, though. I mean, sure, there haven't even been a total of 10 rounds in the game yet, or 10 rounds completed in the game yet. But Hard Legion obviously want to bring themselves back on the board, and ILLUMINAR, with decent amounts of weaponry, they still have the opportunity to stop it right here and to keep their lead cemented. But I don't think, with the amount of utility they have, they're going to be able to do it. But let's see if they can chime in with something else and prove me wrong. Veggie has been pretty good on this position, though, so that's scary.
Flashbangs in Innocent's face are not going to be helpful, and neither is Veggie dying. He was very good in the position before. This time around, unfortunately, it's not been the case. Snacks to take Grant down is fantastic, though, as he did get aggressive down from low away. And if you look at how ILLUMINAR's positioning, they're all clustered around Pop Dog, so they're ready to move in. But Rage is perfectly postured. He's been fantastic in the past few rounds. Does one up himself yet again. Sviat will fall. Mouse has been the defender of this long side. The question is, can you move past him? Snacks finds a crucial kill up in the highway as well. Lets Mouse be in a position to maybe seal the deal. However, it's all about Innocent. He's got the bomb in his favor, and that Molotov will not be forcing him out of position. But Forrester, who picked up the op, has the advantage. 23 HP on him, could have been anyone's round, but unfortunately, Mouse and Innocent both dropping the ball just a little bit towards the end. You could ask a question about Snacks rethinking, and I think that would be valid, but I honestly think that was fine. Like, that particular repeat, I think that was the right play to make.
but it just ends up coming down to a loss for Illuminar. Now, this is where Hard Legion can really start clawing their way back into the game. Illuminar, look at their money, averaging around $2,100 or 2,200. So it's a question of whether or not Hard Legion can show off the same amount of dominance that Illuminar has been showing so far. As I said before, the better team's tactics often come to light on the T side. And are we going to be able to see this materialize? Are the better players on paper going to be able to practically shut down a team like Illuminar? Obviously, not going to be counting out Illuminar at all. They definitely have very talented players, and they have the lead right now. So let's see how this goes. Hard Legion quickly have a lot of presence towards Speedway. For a second there, Crad was able to sneak past into Speedway without any information being given. I think he might have spotted a player here. Well,
All
right.
Reasonable. That's fine too. He almost gets a second after that, and that's the scary thing. Forrest is very low. Snacks with the AK could be very dangerous. The only question is, does Kinky get found out? Because he will find the first kill. If you get double peeked by USBs or just jiggle peeked and headshot down, and then they have 2 AKs on the CT side, I'm not even sure if I favor you in that case. Kinky, he's being wrapped around on. You can actually see Riaz. He's already behind him, but Riaz doesn't check the angle. Riaz thinks he's gone through the smoke. And because of that, Kinky will be able to take advantage of the neglect. Snacks will be brought to the one with the AK. So, what could have been a very, very big round ends up going by the wayside because Riaz didn't check the angle.
I'm still in awe about what Snacks did there. I mean,
he's really good with the USBs. Like we've seen him quite a few times now, actually. Like on Mirage, we saw it when he was hiding in the smoke. The immediate 2 headshots were there. We saw it in Vertigo, I think, on the CT side. He did a really good job with the USBs as well. He's been really good with USBs all around. Like, I'm very impressed.
I think the nature of the USB being pretty accurate, the first bullet accuracy always being on point, and combined with the crosshair placement and raw aim of Snacks, I think that they're just a beautiful combo. Because for players that have insane first bullet accuracy and placement, the USB just starts shining.
It's not even that, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just generally saying it's also that Snacks has always been famous for his movement, which is one of the reasons why you don't see him
that's true.
the Deagle. So the USB also gives you like so much room for movement and for first bullet accuracy compared to the Deagle, which is much more punishing in that regard. So that's just really, really good to see. Now Forrester, he goes down, and Veggie so far has been very prevalent in short ladder. This time he decides to take more of an external point of view from defending it.
Illuminar already on the advantage now, though. It is Hard Legion's play to make. Crad already situated in short ladder. Two players in inner. One player making his way all the way back from Ivy. If they decide to go anywhere, it doesn't matter. Illuminar has at least 2 players waiting with one in connector that can immediately respond for the with the rotation. So that's sort of the problem for the T side if you've already lost a player or 2, because then Illuminar, they don't have any holes in their defense because they don't really need to be repositioning, and all they really need to do is get their timing on the utility right and just hit the shots when it matters. 40 seconds now, though. The play should be coming in from Hard Legion anytime soon, and based on their positioning, it does seem like a B play.
Mouse is the king of B, though. You have to get past him to enter his domain, and although they've killed him, Innocent is right behind. Crad is left in a 1v3. One of those players is an op on the CT side, but things are looking rough, and the Snacks is more than happy to play that game. 8-4 the scoreline for Illuminar. Money will be there for Hard Legion because of the bomb plant, but 3 players kept alive is really important for the CT side.
Yeah, I think if Illuminar want to take this lead further, it really comes down to making sure that they can keep as many players alive on every instance. And this directly makes me, this directly drives me to the point of the win condition here for Hard Legion. They have to consistently be doing a lot of damage and coming out on top of the in terms of these duels, because if they can get the damage down, if they can minimize the utility that is available for Illuminar, and then basically capitalize on that. That's pretty much what they have to do. Now, Hard Legion going for a pretty quick take here on A as Forrester takes down Innocent. Smoke and Molly further adding to the confusions of the CT side, who have no idea what hit them at that speed. Mr. Flash out here. They're in incredible positions here, Brad, on top of the train. Oh, so unfortunate. Gets obliterated by Mouse and Reeds. Viet does have something to say about this.
Really good flashbang from Forrester that allowed that to happen. Raid chimes in too. And Mouse and Stacks have a very difficult decision to make about whether or not they save. It is a 2v3, but with the bomb being planted on the safe side of the train, it's not easy. The wallbang attempt onto the feet, almost coming in fruition, but Snacks is the one to finish him off. And he's in a 1v2. You know Snacks is going to go for that. Unfortunately, he's punished. And Mouse is the same. Yeah, takes him down. 2 players kept alive on the T side. T-Money is abysmal. And that's a terrible time for the CT Money to break down when you're 8-5 up. And I think this is just shaping out to be a 7-8 half.
It's still good for Illuminar, though, because in the current metagame, I think even getting 8 rounds or 9 rounds on the CT side, despite the positional advantage that they have, it's perfectly fine, because you are going to eventually be on the side that ends up getting the economy advantage, so you can bring it back from there. Now, Pinky, he's already made his way all the way into Speedway, gets Snacks in a position where he got a nasty USB headshot from previously. This time around, it's not going to be the same case. Mouse, with his CZ75 around the corner, trying to be the sole defender of Ivy, is able to land another headshot, but it's not going to be enough to stop the cavalry from moving in. Just a weaponry disadvantage here for Illuminar. It's what keeps them at bay. Veggie, though, he's still not counting himself out of this round. The bomb is yet to be planted. So if he can just maneuver around this, potentially delay the bomb plant. Oh, yes, he does. That's exactly what I was hoping for. He get the second kill, though.
Oh, man. It looked like he was in a good position. The way he was dancing around the train, it did look like
so uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, especially because the bomber is like turning that angle, and Innocent has denied the bomb yet again. Unfortunately, there is no third time, and therefore there is no charm. They do have another buy here, but the point that I wanted to quickly make was, with the USP, if you're against an AK over there, if he doesn't have a MAC-10, I think he might have still won that, because you can just hold a bit of an off angle, and when the AK is coming around the corner, it's so much easier to get that quick double headshot, because the AK is much more aligned in having your crosshair at the correct place to be able to quickly get that shot in. Flicking with an AK is significantly less reliable than MAC-10.
Yep. It is the last round of the first half, though. Illuminar, despite having a pretty significant lead in the form of a 7-1, eventually comes down to 8-6. Hard Legion somehow kicking and screaming back into the game, but Snacks, he does not like these babies. He will already be taking Rage out. Sviat, Brad, and Forrester, the trio. Alright, I don't think they qualify for a trio right now because Krad is pretty much dead, but...
Hey, don't count him out too quickly, because he could still be the big man. But the big man for the CTs is going to be Mouse. He's been great so far, and he finds himself a new little angle to play with every time we see him, and he's dropped the bomb. With that, he heard the second player there, but Krad, like I said, don't count him out, because he's always good for more. 2 kills. And maybe, could be looking to turn it into 3, 4, hell, even 5. But Sviat wants to get in on the action as well. I love this positioning from the CTs and the Ts. Krad's gone for the full wraparound. I don't know if they realize that Veggie's already near the bomb. Veggie doesn't have a kit, otherwise he could have just stuck it. Sviat waiting for any information, but Riat, I think, realizes where Krad is coming in from. So Sviat will be able to find that first kill, but he's left in a 1v2, isolates the duel, but isolation is not all. You must complete your journey, as Innocent will take him down 9 for 6.
That was played to perfection by both the CT and
Yeah.
the T side. I think it just came down to landing the shots. And honestly, man, I take back what I said about Krad. That was
Yeah.
such a good play to go for the wraparound, especially considering the fact that he had to play in the context of the lack of HP there. And then the awareness from Illuminar, just solid stuff. But 9-6, Illuminar, they've put themselves in a great position to go into the T side. And Hard Legion, oh man, they need this pistol round.
The heartbreaking thing is, this is conjecture. This is guesswork. I think if the bomb had been planted for default, the Illumina might not have figured out that Krad was behind them, and that both of them had gone behind them instead of, maybe having to check highway and whatnot. The
Yeah,
problem
for
is,
sure.
if you plant it for default, you don't know if they have a kid or not on Veggie. So that's the ultimate hindsight is 2020 thing that I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though.
It's just a what if scenario. Maybe Veggie's not feeling confident sticking the 10-second defuse. He wants to clear out all the angles, and that gives Krad the time to take down Riyadh a bit quicker. Unfortunately, it's like I said before. It is the ultimate what if. It is the ultimate ha ha ha. I already knew what was going to happen in the game, but I'm going to pretend like I know better. But still, 9-6, a pretty good place to find yourself if you're Hard Legion. I mean, score wasn't looking too well for them before. They were down 7-1 at one point. Illuminar, unfortunately, man, those two rounds that they just lost in a row, which break the CT economy, those were the tearjerkers.
So, one thing that I'm wondering is what kind of plays does Illuminar need to be making? I mean, I think you know a little bit more about Illuminar than I do. So, what kind of plays do you think they need to be making on the terrorist side? Because obviously, Hard Legion, they're going to have a pretty strong CT side just by nature of them. Just by Illuminar
Heads.
Yeah, that just accuracy, of course, but also by the nature of Illuminar being the underdogs here. So what are you looking for? Um, uh, uh, what are you hoping builds up to their victory if Illuminar ends up winning?
I'm glad you took so long with the question that I don't even answer it anymore. Hard Legion going into the pistol round.
I really lost all of my words there. It just turned into a word vomit.
It's all right. Illumina is going for a very interesting take, which honestly, I love the setup from Hard Legion where they're playing super defensively with their pistols. They're not worried about the smoke coming in over towards Sandwich and cutting off their pathways at all. The problem, though, that could arise is Snacks, because he's got himself the big old orange dualies, and he's sending from the side all the way through Olaf to hell, and Kinky will send him further on down. 3 kills from him. He's been the USB man on this side, and Snacks, he may have looked impressive, but nowhere near as much as Kinky has so far. Innocent finds 1. It's still doable in this 2v3. Actually, now it's a 2v3. No, I can't even tell. Is Rage alive or not? Is 7 his HP or his number? Okay.
That's his number. You have to tell. You can
mind.
tell by the skull and the top hat.
Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot about that. Forrester and Sviat trying to fight back. Forrester realizes where the players are, but he's just trying to buy time for Sviat more than anything else, who has actually circled all the way around. Innocent is in some trouble, and he doesn't know it, but he needs to get the bomb first and foremost. Things are not going to be easy for him. 30 seconds on the clock, depletes the maneuverability like nothing else. So when he moves across, unless he gets the immediate kill on this Fiat, which is possible given his HP, and given that Innocent is just pretty damn good.
Oh.
Whoa.
That is way too much information being given away because he got spotted in Ivy. And I think the only saving grace here is that Innocent killed the one that had low HP, but now Forrester coming up on the train. Innocent spamming away, has to go for the reload because he doesn't have many bullets. On top of the train now, Innocent has such a difficult angle to deal with. Forrester, like a hawk from the skies, comes up with the Glock, the salvage Glock from the terrorist side, and he should have the time for a defuse. Very comfortable defuse, actually. Just solid stuff.
Forrester's position was really good there.
Yeah.
The fact that he's able to find out early on that the rotation is happening is why that round goes. What I would have liked to see, though, is just the next level. You don't even go for the plant. You just run down to Z-Connector and try and get the kill. I would have liked to see that, but unfortunately, it is not to be. Innocent,
He made the right play there. Like
he made the right play. He tried. I think at that point, when the 1v1, anything would have been the right play. You know, after you've gotten it back there. Now, however, it is still all about this particular round. Hard Legion. Winning a 1v1 in the pistols is not great. I know pistol don't really count for much, but if you can save some Kevlar without taking much damage or anything of the sort, it can be pretty big. Innocent, however, takes down Forrester immediately, and that's a terrible way to start things off because that gun is also very much within their reach. There's no one who can really stop them from getting it. So not only do you have a firepower advantage, which you had already, now you even have an extra weapon picked up. If they want to pick it up, that is. Great timing on the smoke from Kinky. He was great in the pistol. Can he continue on over here? But the rotation is coming back. They're taking a leaf out of Innocent's notebook. Is he the in-game leader at this point for this round? It might as well be. It is dangling back and forth, but fortunately with a bit more time this time around. 54 seconds on the clock. No commitments have been made just quite yet. And with these two scouts, it's very hard to make those commitments. Veggie's smoke will be instrumental. I want to take a look at Veggie, if we can actually bring him up on screen very quickly, as we are going to wait. But Snacks is more important. That's why we've got observers who are doing much better than I am. Snacks takes down Fiat. That's an easy kill for him, or at least he makes it look easy. And now it's on to the 4v3. Snacks' position is impeccable. And it's going to be so incredibly difficult for Hard Legion to even go for this retake with double scouts. You know they're thinking of the save. And with Grad going down, it has to be the case.
I think Forrester going down at the very start of the round, that pretty much told me that Hard Legion are going to have a very difficult time making their way back into the round, because once Illuminar went for the rotation after the smoke, things just became so hard for Hard Legion, just because Kinky was in a great position to be able to shut them down, but that smoke caused them to rotate, and at that point, there's a hole all over the CT's defenses. So I think that's basically what they got their round went off of. Now, Illuminar on double digits, Hard Legion, the money's not there.
The weird thing, though, is, for me, is that they went for the double scout in their first buy round. You see the double scout a lot on first force buys. You don't see it as much on first buys. Even on a map like Train, which is obviously very sniper heavy, the double scout is very interesting. And when you paired that up with Forrester being as aggressive as he was, you know, some question marks come in for me. I'm not entirely sure what the goal was. Mouse going down is not the goal for him, though. Forrester, we can see why he wanted to get aggressive early in the previous round. If he's going to be pulling off shots like that, it's definitely a good way to start things for Hard Legion. Either way, it seems like Illuminar and Hard Legion are both going to be starting things off with crisp headshots, whichever side it's going to be. So I'm okay with this. It's a good start to any round.
Already a man down, Illuminar. Their sights are focused towards Ivy now, and this might be a good play because they only have 2 players to worry about if they decide to go Ivy, and none of them are looking towards Ivy. Now, if they hold shift the entire way, man, this could definitely be a problem for Hard Legion. I don't think there's anybody looking towards Ivy just yet. Might be one in Speedway. There it is. Fiat goes down to the hands of Faritz. 45 seconds though, so even they do have a bit of time, considering their commitment towards the A bomb site. They might have to go for it just now. Veggie takes down Kinky, and Rage is pretty much the only one that can really punish them here with a scout rifle. Nice shot to the chest. Pulled the trigger. Now he's dead. Forrester, another follow-up onto the head of Veggie. Man, this guy's going crazy with the deagle.
Innocent is next to fall, and I guess, yeah, it's one of those games. Hard Legion have 2 AKs and an op after losing the anti-eco, because they win their eco as well. Now Illuminar will do the same thing with their force buy. Now, admittedly, they have a pretty good force buy, with 3 AK-47s and a whole lot of utility. So somehow, we still arrive at the exact same place we would have in terms of which round we're having the buy versus buy in. It's just a bit of a jumbled up, unexpected place to actually come to with. Regardless though, that's a beautiful knife from Kinky. It's one of the new ones that have come through. It uses the angle of the train to be able to very quickly chuck a nade in to the top of Pop Dog.
Unfortunately, though, I don't think it did any damage.
Yeah. It's just a nice nade.
Oh man,
You
I
know
would
how it
love to
goes.
see the spice on that nade on an eco round.
Oh, it does. You can actually double nade outside Pop Dog, like into Pop Dog with that one, plus one thrown by the player inside Pop Dog if he plays from outside and bounces it off the window, and that just kills, like, that kills anyone who's on, like, top of that ladder.
Yeah, if they're
It's
getting
huge.
ready to get to the ladder
Yeah.
play.
Like, if
Speeding.
you've heard them, it's huge.
Speaking of getting ready for plays, though, with only 50 seconds on the clock, it looks like ILLUMINAR are looking to make a play here. Mal, first man out, isn't able to connect his shots on the first one, but quick transfer towards Kinky will secure the kill with Reeds also getting a kill for himself. Innocent follows suit. And there it is, just kills all across the board. I don't think there's a single player that has been taken down for ILLUMINAR yet. Yeah, that's just 4 HP.
You can see the difference in how Illuminar is taking control over specific areas on the CT side to what Hard Legion was at times able to do. And not even necessarily Hard Legion, but how teams in general will be playing. When Illuminar is getting ground, they don't entirely know what to do with it on the T side as compared to CT side. On CT side, we saw them consistently fighting for pop dog control. We saw them consistently fighting for T-con control. And because of that, they were keeping Hard Legion very much alive. Brad's going to go down ahead. He'll get some kills before he does so. But he will end up falling. In comparison, Illumina over here, when they're on the T side and Hard Legion's on CT, Hard Legion's not trying to have a play inside Pop Dog. They're not trying to get aggressive and take control of T-Con. They're giving up these areas for free, which means that when the explosion comes out, when all of these players immediately pop out from Short Ladder, from T-Con, from Ivy, wherever they're coming from, you are reliant 100% that you're not smoked off and that you're hitting your shots. The reason why train wall of smokes don't work anymore is because all the CT teams do just get aggressive, and we're not seeing that as much on full buy rounds from Hard Legion, which I hope is rectified later on, because otherwise that's going to be a huge spawn in the side for them. A nice kill from Innocent on the crowd. Snacks follows up too. Wow, those are early kills.
Yeah, that's something that I mentioned early on in the series, is the fact that partially the win condition for Illuminar would be, for Hard Legion, would be the fact that they have such an explosive style of play to be able to push into areas, to be able to take fast control. And Illuminar, as we saw on Mirage against the previous team that they played, they would be gambling in a lot of positions where they would let go of an area entirely. Now, what we expected from Hard Legion is something that could have been an excellent counter to what Illuminar is doing, to be able to get up close and personal, but we haven't seen any of that from Hard Legion, and the times that they do, it doesn't seem to work out for them.
Except for when Forrester just gets a crazy 1D.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But those are the outliers. You don't count that.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because I've seen this team play a lot. I've seen Forrester and Crad a lot. You count those. Trust
okay,
me.
so they keep happening.
Those aren't they happen a lot.
Yeah, they're part of the playbook, so they go like, all right, so we're going to do this execute. Crad, you're going to get a 3k here. Yeah, pretty expected stuff. Just hold mouse one.
The funny thing is, that's legitimately, I actually think that's legitimately a possibility. Like, you're exaggerating a bit.
Yeah, of course.
But I genuinely think that there might be some parts in their strat book where they say, you're going to go here and get these 2 kills 100% of the time. Like there's just no option that you don't.
That is a good strategy to have, though. I understand that sometimes it might seem a little unreasonable, but when players know exactly what is expected from them in the form of kills, it ends up materializing as an excellent strategy. At least that's something that I've personally noticed.
It's definitely helpful for a player, you know, know, okay, this is what I have to accomplish to win the round. And then you leave it up to the player's devices to figure it out beyond that. So, okay, you know, you can ask Forrest to take control of this, play from this wall, but then it's up to him beyond that, other than the fact that he knows he needs to
Yeah,
get
so
2 kills. So,
there's a bit of a difference in philosophy when it comes down to playing CS. Like some in-game leaders, they want to tell their players exactly what to do, and some in-game leaders might want some freedom to go around. So it really just comes down to that. And what works better? I don't think anyone has a decisive say on that.
Astralis.
Yeah, Estra- and what are Astralis doing right now?
It
Oh
doesn't
no,
matter.
no, I'm just
Astralis
kidding.
works better.
Yeah, Astralis works better.
As long as Glaive's saying it later.
Yeah.
But right now, Glaive isn't here in Counter-Strike or in this game. Right now, we've got ourselves pistols, USBs, and Zeus's. Not really doing much. Actually, I say that, but Sviat gets a quick kill. That's an op pulled out of Snax' hands. That can be picked up very soon after. Forrester, in the meanwhile, who's rocking his Zeus, will be looking to strike down with the power of thunder, lightning, and Greek deities. This is not a wild deity, though. This is a deity who's very much controlled, accurate, but very short range, and that's why it will go down to, as he pulls out the USB instead. 13-8, Illuminar, one step closer to finishing off a best of 3 against Hard Legion. Not a team that we're favored against at all.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but Illuminar definitely were seen as the underdogs here. I mean, in all respects, I think Hard Legion definitely has a bit more individual skill on their side, just a better overall team ranking as well. So this would be this would pretty much be an upset. Like, there's no other way to put it.
What knife does Riyadh have? It's really cool. Tell me about it later on, because right now they should be action. Kinky has taken a leaf out of Edge's notebook, and he's got an aggressive, so has Crad. Crad finds the first kill on Riyadh. The question is, does he re-peek out for more? He's definitely thinking about it. You know how aggressive he is, but so does Mouse, and as expected, the telegraph play is brought down. Crad is one tapped away, and Mouse has been an absolute stud so far on Train. He's very much been the B anchor who's kept it completely under lock and key, and now transitioning over to the T side, he is no less effective. The question I am slightly curious about is why he has picked up an op. Could just be trying to get a better angle for now before they explode onto the B side, but this should be a quick hit.
Still 50 seconds, so they seem to be taking their time. One player down for either of the sides. Fiats, he watches Snax walk right into his crosshairs, but is not able to pull the trigger fast enough, or at least not for long enough. Now Kinky creeping up the ladder. He might be in a good position to shut down this push, but I think the T side will be waiting for it. Nope, they have their utility in their hands. They're not able to shut him down immediately. Unfortunately for him, though, not able to follow it up with any more kills. But Becky is. He knows how to follow it up, and he gets 2 kills. Now Rage in a 1 versus 3. Hard Legion already have such a hard time, and Rage is put back into the seat where he has to win the race all by himself. And they're going towards a 10 seconds on the clock. Will the bomb go down comfortably? I think
Yes,
it
it will.
should. Yeah. Sorry, the radar is just a little wonky.
We don't talk about it. We don't talk
about it.
Well, we talk about Rage quite a bit on this broadcast, and we can see why. Unfortunately, exit kills don't matter much against the T side, at least. Kinky does everything right. He does. He's perfect. He's great. He panics. The problem over there as a player is, firstly, obviously, it's a little bit, you know, you can understand if a shot's that easy, then it's all about missing. But beyond that, the players weren't turned away from him. When you're in that angle and you see these 2 players that are kind of in your periphery, and you see this replay over here, they're not technically turned away from him. They can't see him, but in your head, you're kind of on like a 30-degree angle to them, something like that.
Yeah, so he's not 100% sure if he should fire immediately or capitalize on the fact that they can't see him.
So the kind of confusion that pops up in a player's head when that's going on, that's what kills you. If they were looking at him with utility out, he wins that 100%. I guarantee it. Mouse, though, is pretty damn good, and I guarantee that myself. Forrester, I talked about it before. This is a strat. This is just how it works. Forrester, go get a kill.
Very nicely done with the Deagle, but he has a lot more work to do, and so does Rage with his hands on the $47.50 liability. Very slow round coming in from Illuminar, and this is good because Krad already being down and out, this gives Illuminar the comfort of maneuvering around the entire map while Hard Legion is second guessing themselves, and they have a minute around the clock. But it looks like they've pretty much doubled down on B. They already have 2 players, or is that 3 players? I'm not 100% sure, but I think they might have 3 players here over towards B.
Those are some good-looking flames. I have to say that.
Very high quality.
Yes, and this Counter-Strike is also very high quality, so we should go back to it. Rage, hoping to find something, but it's Riyadh who takes Riyadh and his life away. Rage comes in. He almost gets the collateral there, but unfortunately for Forrester, not quite. Forrester has been left in a 1 versus 3. It's a lonely situation to find yourself in, but he is looking for a gun to take away. Now, unfortunately for him, I think the gun was thrown away. When he got the kill early on, I actually didn't notice this. I wanted to ask you, did the gun drop over, like on top of Pop Dog? Because that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
yes,
it did. It stayed there.
That could have been the difference, honestly.
Yeah, and that one collateral being missed by Rage, I mean, that has to be heartbreaking. I mean, you saw that. All right, is there just me, or was there just a little freeze there as he was about to get a collateral? It's as if the stream is mocking him, like, "Oh, you could have gotten that collateral."
Get wrecked. I think it was just you, though. But, anyhow, double up on Hard Legion. Their last chance saloon has arrived. The question is, can they get on board? Illuminar. Against all odds, they've done everything, but this is where so many teams have faltered. Krad finds the first pick. He's been caught out re-peeking before. He doesn't want to let it happen again. Krad is very well aware of the dangers of this spot, but he's also very well aware of the fact that Hard Legion at this point need him to put on a superhuman performance. Illumina, man down. They're waiting for Hard Legion to make a mistake, and that mistake is not coming their way. They're playing this very calmly, very comfortably. Krad is ready to push in, push forward, and push around. 48 seconds on the clock. No, he's itching to fire, but Forrest is the one who's lighting one under the feet of Illumina. And Illumina with 2v5, that is not going to go their way. Innocent is left alone with an AK-47. And a ravaged dream of a 16-8. Poor guy. Poor guy.
Man, Hard Legion have such work to do. I mean, even if they win this round, it's just such a battle to be trying to work it up. The good thing, though, is they don't have to worry about economy, because if they lose a round, it's game over. They do have to win.
That's not entirely true. That's the funny thing. That's the really funny thing, though.
Oh yeah, because if they win a round with like one player left alive.
So that's why I was wondering, why the hell are you hunting Innocent? It doesn't matter. They obviously have infinite money on the T side. So a bit confusing, but they get kill hungry, and at the same time, you have to say momentum matters, player feelings matters, and emotion matters. So let's see whether it'll matter over here. Innocent moving in very quickly, and he gets spotted.
Veggie, though, he's up close and personal. He gets Inky, hasn't spotted the player right next to him. Forrester will be putting down Thousand Veggie. That was a 4 versus 2, the CT side on such an advantage. Snacks almost landing the shot with the AWP. Trying to shimmy around the corners of Speedway, about to get peaked. There's 2 angles that he needs to worry about, but Rage, barely being spotted, has taken down Snacks. Rayats in a 1 versus 4 now. Hard Legion, they do seem to be making a case for the comeback, but is that case going to be strong enough? Still a minute on the clock. And he has the bomb, so the potential for a 1 versus 4 definitely happens to be there. And I don't think he spotted him, but the leg is going to come around, and Krad will be there to pick it up.
I mean, that's a good old call of rush out of A quickly. This is not from this round. Just to make sure everyone knows. This is from 2 rounds ago, alright?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just
they,
making sure.
Yeah, because they died all the way on A.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I got a bit confused.
Listen, man, that play was so good they had to show it twice.
It-
Okay, so
I mean, hey, show it me third time after this round. I'm okay with
I
that.
feel like production might actually do that.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's wait to see. Kinky, is that not gonna find anything? No, it's not. It's just gonna make me happier and happier every time I see it being lined up. Mouse is now expecting this play from Crad, and he would be right to expect it, but oh, look at this. Mouse even baits it out. He tries to make it seem as if he's free-firing into the low way itself, but instead, he baits out the peak. Can't quite get the kill, but it was really nice attempt. Crad, however, will come through at the end and bring it all home. Raids as well to chime in, and where I said the T-side economy is invincible, I'm being proven wrong. ILLUMINAR are now in a position where if they don't start getting bomb plants soon, they might very well be kicked over to overtime.
Still a 3-on-5 though. You can't really count them out just yet. I mean, Snack's still alive with the bomb. 40 seconds though. The Luminar, I think they need to find a pick because just straight up going for the bomb plant, it's not going to be a good play here because they will be put in a position where the CTs, they know exactly where the players are. Now, Kinky putting Snacks down and follows it up with a kill on the Beggy. Just... Oh? I'm very surprised that Mouse managed to pick that up. I was just about ready to say that Kinky had gotten it, but Rage will be there to finish this chapter of the story, but there are 4 more to write, and potentially more if it goes to overtime.
Great timing for the timeout, at least. And this is where I show you what the difference between a veteran caster is and not. Is that now I'll ask you, what do you think the T-side should do? Well, you actually have time to answer.
Oh, I actually kind of want to think about this for a bit. So first of all, I need to pay attention to the fact that the enemy team has been consistently playing a double op setup, so their play could be based around that. If they try to pincer from A main and Ivy, it is going to be very difficult to lock it down with a double AWP setup. So at least if I'm the in-game leader here, I might try to go for a play where I initially bait out the utility for the first 30 seconds, because obviously that's always going to be a problem that the T side has to deal with. And then eventually I make my players retract. I send one over towards Bob Dog, potentially 2 or 3 towards A main, and 1 towards Ivy. So they have to worry about all of these different angles that the AWP is simply not equipped for. What would you do, though?
Much more simple. I would go for a set strat, which is not reliant on defaulting, because the problem with the double op is that it's incredibly good at picking off defaults. So right now, it's not about where you're sending individual players, it's more about the way you're doing it. Right now, the way they're playing is specifically focused around winning the duel against whoever is peeking out in highway, if there is someone there, or B, rushing out A main quickly, all off in speedway, but rather out towards E-box and rushing towards
They tried
E-box.
that though. They've tried that, and 2 of their players they have were Innocent and Mouse.
No. I'm saying that's a mistake. Where they rushed over to E-box, I think that's a mistake. A proper set play with like a nice double execute is what I want to see.
For like the smokes to be pretty much the point of contention for the AWPs.
Yes,
all right, I can agree with that,
kind of
because smokes are pretty much the biggest destructive force that you have to deal with if you're an opera.
Yeah. Plus, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more control over Pop Dog, to be honest. Like, just double molly it. Launcher's coming in. Pistols are pretty good against the AWP as well, but not when Rage is holding it. Forrester takes the man down, and he will continue. Inside the smoke, Riat will fall. Innocent left in the 1v4, and damage is not being done to the CT side either, so this double AWP will never be taken out of their hands. Innocent will fall, and Forrester will
I'm sorry,
be the one to escort
did they have
him to his
weapons there?
grave.
Did all of them have weapons there on the T side? No, right? I think
they
they.
had
I didn't.
pistols.
Oh yeah, I was a little bit confused there. Because they pretty much did exactly what I outlined and they failed. So I did not want to. But listen, man. What you said and what I said aren't mutually exclusive. You can still throw out smokes. You can still throw out an execute if you're going for my play, okay? But now they have weapons, so I want to see how this works out. If this happens to be an execute and they win this round, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
No, they're not going to execute. Illuminar is generally... I feel like their strat books, their playbook's a little bit shallow for the execute side, and the reason why they're doing so well is largely because of individual players on the CT side.
Yeah.
Right now, though, we are seeing some of their weakness come through. They don't really know 100% how to deal with the double up and the early ground being taken by the CT side, and they don't know how to prevent that from happening. So I'm waiting to see any response from them. They have changed their default a little bit. They aren't sending players towards brown holes. They are largely focused on A, and this does look to be a set play, but not too focused on smokes. Forrest is in a great position, and Kinky and Sviat are very different. Innocent, however, will take him down. Kinky, blinded up, will find that kill any day of the week. And in a 2 versus 4, you're once again wondering why in the world are smokes not being used. Snacks alone. And he dies alone. Kinky, what a round from him. 4 kills. Loved it.
Yeah, I think the point you made about their strat book being pretty shallow is valid because there's no reason why they're not going for a set execute, especially when they have the money for it, they have all the utility that they need for it, and they also have a motive to do it because they're up against a double op setup. The one thing that they constantly feel pressured by can immediately be eliminated, or at least partially eliminated by the use of smokes. Now, Hard Legion only 2 rounds away from bringing it to overtime, potentially crushing Illuminar's dreams. I mean, we've been saying that they're the underdogs for the longest time, and Hard Legion just might be looking to prove that they are. Illuminar, though, not out of this just yet.
Really awkward spot for Crowd to be in, but Kinky finding that 1 kill means that Forrester can safely go towards B. And that's such a great timing for the execute to be coming in, but Forrester is blind and finding kill after kill. USP is now balled out. You can't pass this man. Innocent. He can get a kill, but it will not matter. Forrester is unstoppable.
Wow, Hard Legion looks like a different team now that they've been pedaling for the comeback. I mean, Illuminar just not able to find anything. And the funny thing is that Hard Legion has had very convincing round. It's not been the case that they've had to buy up or anything. I mean, just look at the money on them. Of course, the money doesn't matter that much right now, but my point in bringing it up is that their money proves how little they've had to buy up over and over. They've been having all of these convincing rounds where they lose maybe 1 or 2 players at best.